announcement should be made. Amazon Economic Development Director Mike Grela rebuked the genius responsible for the leak, stating it was not doing the city any favors and encouraging the leaker to stop treating the non-disclosure agreement like a used napkin. A total of 238 locations initially submitted proposals to host the headquarters before the field was narrowed down to about 20 finalists. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports the number of international students entering U.S. colleges and universities has fallen for the second year in a row, according to a nonprofit group on Tuesday, amid efforts by the Trump administration to tighten restrictions on foreigners studying in the United States. New enrollments for the 2017-2018 school year slumped 6.6% compared with the previous year, according to an annual survey released by the Institute for International Education. That follows a 3.3% decline in new international students tallied in the 2016-2017 academic year. Several factors are driving the decrease. Visa and immigration policy changes by the Trump administration have deterred some international students from enrolling, according to college administrators and immigration analysts. Alan Goodman, president of IIE, said a strong U.S. dollar has made U.S. college tuition relatively more expensive. International students have become an important funding source for American colleges as traditional revenue sources, such as state funding, come under pressure. Similar to previous years, the largest number of students come from China, India, and South Korea, which together make up 56.1% of all international students. Some immigration policy experts and college administrators attribute the decline to the Trump administration's drive to restrict immigration and an overall sense of U.S. political climate that is hostile to immigrants and foreigners. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Odds are, if you've looked outside recently, you've noticed that all dogs everywhere are running. Scientists can't explain why all over the world, dogs of every breed are running nonstop. I'm joined now by animal behavior expert Dr. Charles Davenport. Charles, what can you tell us?
All we know for sure is that the dogs are running fast.
But we don't know why the dogs are running?
There are a few reasons that dogs normally run. Because they're excited or scared, or they see something they want far away, or because they're happy. However, usually, they don't run at the same time or in the same direction.
Do we have any idea where the dogs are running?
West. All the dogs are running west.
Do we expect the dogs to ever stop running?
We don't know. Animal behavior can evolve over time. Maybe running forever is just what the dogs do now.
Dr. Davenport, is there any chance that the running dogs are somehow related to last night's blue meteor shower? Or the fact that horses are screaming?
Inconclusive.
Well, please keep us posted. Up next, where are all the children?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it is Free Talk Live, and of course you can join us here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just join us over on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight here, it's Ian,
Mark,
and Vin Armani is on his way in. The weather is a little nasty here tonight in New Hampshire, so he's taking it a little easy on the roads. And I'm looking forward to Vin coming in here tonight because I know he feels pretty strongly about this upcoming Bitcoin Cash potential schism, where Bitcoin Cash could become it could become two separate competing versions of itself.
I guess is the term they use.
Yeah, I know they use the term fork, but I don't really like it because the term fork can mean different things. So forking can mean what they call a hard fork, or it can mean a soft fork, and neither of the hard fork or the soft fork have anything to do with whether or not it's going to split into two, which is also called a fork. So there's like the chain fork, which is what we're talking about here, where the blockchain splits into two.
Right.
And then there's the software forks that don't really have to do with this, but there is going to be a hard fork that's happening at the same time. So anyway, we can talk about all that later when Vin gets here. So toll-free number here tonight, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. Story I mentioned over the weekend, and, you know, the way Free Talk Live goes, we don't always get to all of our show prep because it's open phones, and you can call in about anything you want. Big headline over at QuartzQZ.com. The Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, and ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, have hidden an undisclosed number of covert surveillance cameras inside streetlights around the country, according to federal contracting documents. According to the government's procurement data, the DEA has paid a Houston, Texas company called Cowboy Streetlight Concealments, LLC, roughly $22,000 since June of 2018 for, quote, video recording and reproducing equipment, unquote.
Okay.
ICE paid out about $28,000 to Cowboy Streetlight Concealments over the same period of time. It's unclear whether the DEA and ICE streetlight cameras have been installed or where the next deployments will take place. ICE offices in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio have provided funding for recent acquisitions from Cowboy Streetlight Concealments. The DEA's most recent purchases were funded by the agency's Office of Investigative Technology, which is located in Lorton, Virginia. They then show you an excerpt from the Federal Procurement Data System, which shows these contracts and, you know, the dates on the supposed reasons that they're purchasing these things, the codes and such, but they don't actually give you any more detail than the fact that these purchases with fairly large numbers were made, although these aren't the largest of numbers. I mean, $28,000.
It's pretty disturbing.
$28,000 is probably only going to buy the government so many cameras, right?
Like one.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You can probably get more than one for $28,000, but then again, the government tends to pay more for things than people in the market do. Christy Crawford.
Right, you can get the Blink home security system for less than $100. The government, on the other hand, probably paid $28,000 for one camera.
Well, we don't know, but it's probably not paying. It's probably not paying $100 for one camera. I can tell you that.
That's. I don't know that the Blink is one.
I think you probably get more than one for that. But I haven't actually looked at that new offer, Mark. So we should probably check
we should do that.
Because I know that the 3-camera system wasn't much more than $100 the last time I looked. Anyway, Christy Crawford, who owns Cowboy Streetlight Concealments with her husband, who is a Houston police officer, said she was not at liberty to discuss the company's federal contracts in detail. Crawford did tell courts, quote, "We do streetlight concealments and camera enclosures. Basically, there's businesses out there that'll build concealments for the government, and that's what we do. They specify what's best for them, and we make it. And that's about all I can probably say." However, she did add this, and this is ominous, quote, "I can tell you this. Things are always being watched. It doesn't matter if you're driving down the street or visiting a friend. If government or law enforcement has a reason to set up surveillance, there's great technology out there to do it."
Oh, yeah, that's done.
Earlier this week, the DEA issued a solicitation for, quote, concealments made to house PTZ, which stands for Pan Tilt Zoom, so a controllable camera.
Okay.
Cellular modem, cellular compression device, noting the government intended to give the contract to Obsidian Integration LLC, an Oregon company with a sizable number of federal law enforcement customers. On November 7th, the Jersey City Police Department awarded a contract to Obsidian Integration for the, quote, purchase and delivery of a covert pole camera. The filing did not provide further design details. Obsidian did not respond to a request for a comment, nor did Morgan Hairston, the Department of Justice contracting officer handling the bids. In addition to streetlights, the DEA has also placed covert surveillance cameras inside traffic barrels. You know, those orange barrels that normally have like water in them or whatever. Well, some of them's got cameras, the purpose-built product offered by a number of manufacturers. As courts reported last month, the DEA operates a network of digital speed display road signs that contain automated license plate reader technology within them. Were you on the show that night we were talking about that, Mark?
No, but I knew it was true.
Yeah, so those speed checker things that as you're driving down the road, you get hit by radar.
Your speed, the ones so that when you're going past them, you try to step on it as fast as you can to get the number as high as you possibly can.
You do that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're doing it, then either whether you're doing it or not, they could be taking your picture. They could be taking photos of your license plate and photos of the inside of your car as well. That's what these DEA-equipped versions of these
What could
traffic...
they possibly see on the inside of a car from that angle?
Well, they're normally about on par with like the average car's height.
Right. Well, that just means you pass through. You're looking mostly through the inside.
They're going to see you.
Right.
They're going to take a picture of you.
I understand they're going to see you.
That's the purpose, to see who's driving the car.
They're not going to see a shotgun that's nestled along the side or a bag of weed in the glove compartment.
That's correct. This is not about searching your car, Mark. It's about knowing where you are. It's about being able to identify your location based on license plate scanning technology. And so now the latest news here is that the DEA, in addition to having this network, because we're reading about how the network of these traffic speed camera devices has been expanding, like voraciously expanding. So you don't know if it's your town where they're placing these, but it could very well be. And they're just, they're buying more over time. They're putting them out there. And now we're talking about concealing them in streetlights or in other enclosures as well. So we don't know how many of these cameras they have. And we don't know, how well deployed they are, how consistently deployed they are. But the fact is, they're out there.
It's interesting that they just don't want to tell you these things, right? I mean, here you are. They tell you in school, you're the government. It's we the people. You're the government. So the government should know where the government is putting cameras, but the government doesn't.
Well, they know, but they're just not telling.
Well, but they're telling you you're the government in the process.
Oh, right.
Because you're not.
No, definitely not.
The reality is you're not.
Chad Marlowe, Senior Advocacy and Policy Counsel for the ACLU, says efforts to put cameras in streetlights have been proposed before by local law enforcement, typically as part of a smart LED streetlight system. Quote, it basically has the ability to turn every streetlight into a surveillance device, which is very Orwellian, to say the least, said Marlowe. In most jurisdictions, the local police or Department of Public Works are authorized to make these decisions unilaterally and in secret. There's no public debate or oversight.
Just putting up new streetlights.
These
happen to spy on you.
Yep. Surveillance cameras will increase as the development of facial recognition algorithms becomes more commonplace among law enforcement agencies, and Amazon has been particularly interested in outfitting cameras operated by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security with facial recognition, according to emails recently unearthed by the Project on Government Oversight.
Great. Now I can't do business with Google or Amazon.
Amazon employee wrote in an email that touted their facial recognition software, quote, "We are ready and willing to support the vital Homeland Security investigations mission," unquote.
Finding who has weed, who's going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit.
So, of course, they're going to tell you that this camera network is only going to be used to track dangerous criminals. It's never going to be used to actually go after average people. So what is there to worry about, Mark? I mean, if you're not breaking the law, you don't have anything to hide. Why are you worried about cameras?
Well, I'm not terribly worried about cameras. However, the whole idea that we just are inundated with cameras is counter to the notion upon which this nation was founded. The idea is this is an experiment in freedom, not an experiment in tyranny or totalitarianism or authoritarianism. It's an experiment in freedom, the idea that a free person can make good decisions, and by and large we have.
Well, the fact is, you may actually be doing something illegal. You just might not know it. There's more coming up here in moments. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom, Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere, from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. Get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 by visiting blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free if you want to join us here. The number's 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Vin Armani joining us here from Cointext.io, which I had the chance to do a little testing on this weekend. Now that you guys have officially teamed up, has this been announced yet? You've teamed up with Anypay.
Yeah, I guess it kind of leaked out, and then Bitcoin.com covered it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. They did a pretty nice story about it, but somebody leaked out an Instagram video of them using it in Portsmouth.
Okay.
And at a business. And so we had been planning that we were going to do a big press release, but now,
it's already done. Somebody did it for you.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's not to say it shouldn't be continually promoted. I think it's really cool. We talked about Anypay a lot here on Free Talk Live. It is a great way for local businesses, or I guess larger than local, but it seems to be mostly a local business thing right now. But if you're a business owner, if you got a retail establishment, a point of sale, and you want to accept cryptocurrency like Bitcoin BTC or Dash, or some of the others like Zcash or Zen, you can accept those at your point of sale through anypay.global. Just go to anypay.global and sign up with your username and password. That's all you got to do. There's no approval process. There's no paperwork. There's no jumping through hoops. It's username, password, you're in. You set up the back end by just simply entering your cryptocurrency wallet address where you want your crypto to go to, basically, in the back end. And then you load the app on your device at your register, and that's it. You're accepting crypto. And you don't have to do anything to make Cointext work with this. And Cointext, which we've mentioned before in the air, we should give a brief description of what it is.
It's an SMS cryptocurrency wallet, so we work with Bitcoin Cash in 33 countries and Litecoin and Dash in the US and Canada. And so basically, as opposed to having to download an app or do anything like that, you use one of our access numbers and you basically communicate back and forth with it with very simple commands like receive and balance
and send.
Then send.
Yeah.
Those are your basic commands. There's also like help.
Yep.
But those are your basic commands, and it's very, very easy to use.
So easy.
In this case, though, it's a brand new command, which is buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically when you're looking at the point of sale, it'll tell you buy and then like a 5-digit code. You put that in and you
send that to Cointext, and then if you've got crypto in your wallet with Cointext, you basically then authorize via one more confirmation message comes in.
Right.
You send an authorization, and then that's it. So basically with 2 text messages now, Mark, you can pay a bill at a point of sale. So you can walk in with a dumb phone. And
Yes.
yeah, you can walk in with a dumb phone. You don't need a smartphone anymore to pay at a register with cryptocurrency. And you can send 2 text messages and your bill's paid. And it's boom. It's almost as fast as actually scanning with a wallet like your traditional crypto wallet.
It may be faster depending upon your wallet,
on how fast
right?
you are.
Yeah.
So, Vin, you said you could do this in 33 countries with Bitcoin Cash. Is that right?
That's right.
And I'm just, to me, this is a real game changer because essentially people in countries that can't afford smartphones.
That's right.
Can now use dumb phones to make crypto transactions. And this is
huge.
Sort of, to some extent, what we all talked about in 2011 is that this is going to even the playing field for people around the world.
Yep.
The 2/3 of the world's population that's unbanked is now potentially banked.
Well, one of the coolest things, and we tried this out with doing it with Anypay, is you can actually be standing in line with somebody who has no crypto whatsoever, but if you have their phone number, you can send them crypto to their phone number via Cointext, and they can pay for their food by the time they get to the front of the line with Anypay that fast. Literally within 30 seconds, it's gone from you to them to being paid to the business.
So wait, that's because you don't need to wait for a confirmation when it's within Cointext?
Well, no. Actually, on Bitcoin Cash, you can do very reliable zero confirmation transactions. That's one of the cool things about Bitcoin Cash. And so this is just one of the first applications and use cases of really using it to the fullest extent. It's
That's so cool.
Super cool.
So is this a custodial wallet then?
No.
This is a non-custodial wallet.
This is a non-custodial wallet.
Okay, so what that means is that you then, as the user, have full control of your private keys?
If you want to get your private keys, which now you can get your private key if you want. We use your phone number as a cryptographic seed.
Okay.
So it basically on demand, sort of in working memory, creates the key pair every time you go up.
Okay.
We don't store any key pairs.
Really?
If you want your
I figured for sure you guys had the keys.
How else would you do it, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, this is a totally different paradigm here.
Right. So the upgrade's already built in.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So
the upgrade that I want is already there.
Yeah, if you want your Cointext private key, just because you're like, hey, I always need to have my private key for my wallet, just send the command private key.
Oh, wow.
It'll walk you right through. You just do 2 confirmations, and then you got your private key.
But the problem there is it's sending it over unencrypted SMS.
Aha. So this is the trade-off that you're going to have. I actually prefer, and I tell people, if it's not really all that necessary, if you really don't need your private key, this is a casual spending wallet.
Right, don't keep your life savings on Cointext.
No, this is not. This is a casual spending wallet. It takes just seconds to get it on and off. So put a little bit on there, but
I don't know if I've asked you this before, but since we're talking about it, how difficult, how possible would it be for you guys to implement signal encryption with Cointext? Meaning that those of us with the Signal app, we've talked a lot on Free Talk Live over the years about Edward Snowden recommends certain apps as far as nothing's perfect, nothing's going to completely keep you obscured from the most dedicated NSA agents or whatever, but if you've got unencrypted SMS, then anybody can read that crap. The phone company, the local cops. Whereas if you have the Signal app, it is an open source encryption app that is available for both iPhone and Android, and it essentially replaces your default messaging. You can then, as long as the other party has Signal, you can then send encrypted not only text messages, but you can also do voice chats and that kind of thing with the other person. What about making it so I could send commands to Cointext through Signal and receive messages back.
So this is how we look at that. If you're already opening up an app on your phone, I would tell you use a wallet app.
Okay, all right.
Use a wallet app. There are stupendous wallet apps out there.
There are.
And so I would say, if you're going to open up an app, use a wallet app. There's we can't be all things to all people.
Sure.
So this is like for your casual spending. It's the type of money that you would stick in cash to walk around with.
And it's also, for like you said, Mark, for the people who are in third world countries where maybe smartphones are too expensive or they're hard to access or whatever, this is a lifesaver.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is a lifeline to those people to be able to give them the access to use cryptocurrency, period. But for those of us who don't have a problem, we've got smartphones. There are times, and New Hampshire is one of those places, times and places where your signal with data is not there.
Oh, yes.
Like there's a bar here in town, a brewery that accepts cryptocurrency, but it's kind of on the edge of my cell phone signal. So there was a time when I had to actually walk outside to send the transaction to the register. But if I could just send over the cell phone network,
Cointext, man.
Problem solved.
Cointext.
This solves.
New Hampshire, it's like that too.
This solves signal issues as well at the point of sale.
That's right.
So there's more coming up here, and so we're going to talk about what you've been dealing with now with this insane situation with Bitcoin Cash on the immediate horizon, and how this is affecting what you're doing with Cointext and affecting the world. Coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dragons swallow evolution in one gulp. GodSaidManSaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. GodSaidManSaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously? You possess the world's greatest treasure. GodSaidManSaid.com. Life after death experiences, sin bones, St. Peter's fish, hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidManSaid.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free. Join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line room, so jump on into any one of those and you can get on the air with us. Sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
And by the way, again, that Discord server is discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com, great place to go and not only get the basics on cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, but also get the latest news headlines as well over at news.bitcoin.com. And I imagine if you want to follow the Bitcoin Cash drama that is developing, I suspect they're going to be reporting on that here over at news.bitcoin.com. Markets update: Bitcoin Cash price rally stalls, but trade volume spikes hard. They're frequently reporting on Bitcoin Cash over at news.bitcoin.com. You're going to be hearing a lot about Bitcoin Cash if you're paying attention to the cryptocurrency universe in the next 48 hours, especially. Because right now we are on the verge of an imminent potential schism within the world of Bitcoin Cash. There are some two sides that are, arraying against one another. They're gearing up their miners to possibly go to war.
Yeah,
for real. We talked about this a year ago, something similar at least, and you're going to tell us what some of the differences are here, Vin, in a moment. But Mark, remember a year ago plus, actually it was back in July, August, when Bitcoin, BTC, the original, was getting ready to have its first potential split. And this historic split of Bitcoin where Bitcoin Cash was birthed from BTC. So now you got Bitcoin Cash, you got BTC, Bitcoin, and since then, Bitcoin BTC has had like 70 potential splits. Only like a dozen or so of them have actually kind of gotten off the ground, and most of them just barely. So this has happened a bunch of times since then to the original Bitcoin BTC. Well, now, and there have been a couple of organizations that have threatened to do it on Bitcoin Cash. We were looking at this the other night to see, is this the first time, if this actually happens, if Bitcoin Cash splits into two competing chains coming up here in 24 or so hours, is this going to be the first time it's happened? And I think it is.
I think there was one other, I think Bitcoin Candy or something like that, and I guess it trades.
Oh, is that Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, I guess it trades in a few places, but it's nothing really significant.
I remember that one. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so this may not be the first one, but it's certainly the first hostile split off.
Oh, there's a lot of differences between this and anything else that we've seen so far.
Yeah. So
can you tell me some of those differences?
Yeah, let's get into it. But first, let's talk to Jesse. He's in Nashville on the line, listening to LRN.FM. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hello, fellas.
Hey.
I had a couple of questions for you about. I'm looking to get into Bitcoin and trying to dip my toes in there. And a couple of questions. Is it only coins, or do they have bills as well?
No. So coin is just a term. It really doesn't have anything to do with a physical product. So Bitcoin is basically programming. It's essentially
Amazon
code.
Is not based in South America either,
or necessarily in a forest. So yeah, it's just a word that evokes the idea of money, I think, in people's minds. Yep. So you're talking about a digital currency here.
Oh, I get you. Digital. Oh, I see. That makes more sense. And I apologize. I must sound like an idiot.
No. Everybody, is learning at their own pace here, and it's never too late to get involved in this. That said, there are some kind of gimmicky physical coins and physical bills that are available, but those aren't actual Bitcoin. They're a representation of Bitcoin that exists on the internet, essentially.
Okay, I think I understand. So, and then when you say for a Bitcoin wallet, if I want to get a Bitcoin wallet, can I get it? Is it come in leather, or does it come
this guy?
Yes, yes, it does. So,
you guys know you got someone photobombing?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to actually hit the. I didn't mean to hit the dump button on you there, or the drop button. I think he was talking about Michael Hampton in the background.
Yeah,
but it was a good crank call. I don't think he was actually.
No.
I don't think he was for real.
A Bitcoin wallet is an app. For those that need to know,
it's an app. And as we were pointing out,
by the way, people do need to know, and it's some of the stuff I don't like about Bitcoin that just sort of started out in the beginning. The coin thing I can live with. Mm-hmm. The term using a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet. Why don't we just call it an account or something like that? I mean, you're
saying because this can be confusing.
Bitcoin's more like banking than it is like currency. The Bitcoin is banking and a currency all wrapped together.
Right.
So I prefer terms like account. So give me your account number, because that's what it looks like. Bitcoin, give me your wallet address.
Of course, it's not like banking because you're not trusting a third party, and that's kind of a traditional.
You're banking yourself. You're banking on yourself.
Do you call it a bank when you put money in a safe or under a mattress? I mean, I don't think anybody calls that banking.
Nope.
When people think about banking, they think about going into a big institution.
To put money in a safe, you don't take a big, long series of letters and numbers. Whereas with a bank account, you do.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there's anything wrong with referring to it as an account, but I wouldn't use the term banking.
I would use the term banking. I think we're pretty far gone at this point.
I think there's no turning around.
Wallet is here to stay. Yeah.
I remember when the big argument was whether we make them nanobits or picobits.
Right.
So the argument at one point was that at this point a Bitcoin is worth about $6,300. Yeah, $6,300. And that's not a really spendable amount. And people's like, oh, I can't buy a Bitcoin unless I buy $6,300.
It's one of the most common objections.
But in fact, you can buy 1/10,000,000th of a Bitcoin for less than a penny.
You can.
You have to find somebody to do the transaction. Likely you can't. But I mean, yes, you can
buy $5 worth of Bitcoin.
There is no
$10,
Bitcoin.
$20.
Sure.
No problem.
Bitcoin is a brand for 10 million satoshis. It's a decimal place position, and I find that to be a problem too. But there's no good way to change that. So.
Nope, it is what it is.
Yep.
Yes.
So we were getting into just the beginnings of what's going to happen with Bitcoin Cash. Coming up here, and there is actually a countdown that I'll pull up so we get some idea of when this is supposed to go down. The website, sort of the go-to site, I think, for information about this is cash.coin.dance. It's a strange URL, Coindance. Cash.coin.dance. Right now, there's a clock counting down. So if you're listening live here on Tuesday evening when we're doing the show, there's just over a day and 16 hours left before Bitcoin Cash has a regularly scheduled hard fork. I believe it's every 6 months.
That's right.
Where the programmers behind it are upgrading. They're making changes. They're adding new features.
Well, whether or not it's an upgrade is part of why there is a schism. Like it's basically to take any sort of subjective qualitative part out of it. Every 6 months the software changes to such a degree that anybody running the old software will be incompatible with the rule set of the people running the new software.
This is what's called a hard fork.
A hard fork. So Bitcoin operates off a consensus model where all of these computers that are running software are trying to agree upon what the ledger looks like. And so if you are running an older version, when this countdown goes to 0, you will no longer be able to have consensus with the people running the new version. So
all you have to do is upgrade.
All you got to do is upgrade. All you got to do is upgrade. But there are always nodes that don't upgrade.
They don't get the notice or whatever.
Right. A few at least don't upgrade, and they end up creating a whole new ledger. Now, nobody follows that ledger. The exchanges don't look at it. Your wallet software won't be looking at it, all of that. But it's out there. It's out there and running. But in this case, there's a group that has a significant amount of the total miners on the network, the total amount of hash power on the network, and they do not like the changes that the main group who started Bitcoin Cash are making this time.
And this is typical religious fervor.
That's
right?
exactly what it is. It's a religious war.
Right. This is what all schisms. This is why I use the term schism rather than because when you use the term fork, then you have to talk about. Well, we're not talking about the hard fork or the soft fork. We're talking about a fork of the chain. It's a schism. It's going to split. Yes. Possibly. It's going to split. Likely, I would say. It seems it's going to split Bitcoin Cash into two competing forms of itself. One called Bitcoin SV, the other Bitcoin Cash or ABC. More coming up. Free Talk Live. We'll explain.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Hearing a lot about CBD these days? Yes, but which CBD products can you trust? Which website can provide proper education about CBD along with high-quality products? The answer? CBDonly.com. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of hundreds of compounds found in the cannabis plant and one that contains a variety of medicinal benefits. Many doctors are starting to recommend CBD to their patients as an alternative or supplement to some pharmaceutical medications. CBD is becoming widely known to relieve pain, inflammation, and anxiety. Unlike THC that is found in the plant, CBD does not have psychoactive effects. In other words, it does not give the effect of being high. All CBDonly.com products are lab tested to ensure the highest quality standards. Shop CBDonly.com for CBD oils, edibles, vapes, skincare, even CBD for your pets. That's CBDonly.com. And to receive 15% off your order on CBDonly.com, use discount code CBDNOW. Remember, shop for CBD products you can trust. Shop CBDonly.com, your CBD superstore.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free if you want to join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, you can join us on the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just go to discord.lrn.fm. Discord is a free chat server, and there are different rooms there. In fact, we're talking about crypto on the air. There happens to be a cryptocurrency chat room on the Discord server, as well as other rooms about other topics like gaming, or places where people can just post memes, for instance. So it's a fun server, and there's a lot of people that participate there regularly.
There's also the troll zone for toxic users.
There sure is.
I like that.
People do. You got to mention it because people want to go in there
and talk to him.
And talk to the trolls. And
there's really only one.
There's
only one toxic. Well, there's 2 toxic users, but the second one doesn't come back.
Prepare to be threatened.
Yes.
Insulted.
Oh, yes.
It's fun.
Insults that have nothing to do with you in your life, they will be leveled at you. You'll be called You'll be called a stupid honky.
Oh, that's great.
Right? Completely inaccurate.
Right. So that's if you want to go in that zone, Mark. You don't.
I love it.
You don't have to. He can't get into any of the other rooms. That one guy cannot do it. Anyway, you go to discord.lrn.fm. They get you in there.
What was it called in Pulp Fiction? Our GIMP.
Yeah, the GIMP. Yeah. He's the GIMP. Bring out the GIMP.
And it's free, so check it out. There's an app you can download, or you can just use the web version, but I recommend the app because then you can use it to actually call into the show via the on-air call-in line rooms, which are there, and they're open for you right now over at discord.lrn.fm, especially if you've got questions. Now, you can call in about anything you want, but we're getting kind of in deeper, I think, than we did. We had Roger Ver on the show on Friday night.
Oh, nice.
Just to kind of talk generally about what's going on here, and the way he described it was the 2 different sides in this potential schism of Bitcoin Cash. One side doesn't want the changes to happen yet, but they might want them later, and the other side wants them sooner or something like that.
Roger is being very diplomatic.
Yeah.
He unfortunately has been dragged deep into this on a personal level.
I've heard.
Yes, he released a video with an email from one of the belligerents, you might say, on the other side, Craig Wright.
Yeah.
This is the guy, for listeners, before you go on, this is the guy that made headlines a couple years ago now, I think it was.
2014 or 15,
was it that
I believe.
long ago?
Yeah.
Wired Magazine or some company like that did a big expose claiming this guy was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Well, he claimed that.
Oh, did he claim it? Because I thought at first he rejected the claim and then later embraced it.
It's a very weird situation.
Anyway, some people thought he was Satoshi, but he
Roger
never
thought he was Satoshi.
Yeah,
but he never proved it.
Not definitively.
Well,
no.
and the way a real Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin, the creator of Bitcoin, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin, can prove it is by signing something with his PGP key.
Why would Satoshi want to do that?
Or just send one of the early,
or the very first
a single
Bitcoin
transaction from
out of one
of
of
the
the
first ones. Yeah,
right, because that would prove that he controls that block, proving therefore that he is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Why would Satoshi want to do that?
Well, if somebody's claiming to be Satoshi, then they can prove it. That's all I'm saying. This guy's claiming to be Satoshi. So it's like, oh, you're Satoshi? Well, here's how you can prove it.
Yeah.
I think that the best thing for Satoshi, for Craig Wright, is to be both Satoshi and not Satoshi.
That's what I always have said. Yes.
Right. He's basically Schrodinger's creator, right? He's
in both places at once.
Satoshi.
Right, so Schrodinger's Satoshi. Like at any moment he can be both Satoshi and not Satoshi.
Yes.
But he can't be Satoshi unless he can prove it.
Not to you.
Yeah, but not to anybody who actually cares about who Satoshi is.
Well, he's got quite a few followers in his cult who are true believers, and it's been very effective for them, clearly, with what they're doing.
And so he's behind this, right?
Satoshi is alive or dead. And Satoshi is Craig Wright or not, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, Craig Wright is one of the few people who could be Satoshi.
I'm not sure that he even could be Satoshi.
I'm not sure he could,
but go on.
He could be, and if he is, it's the best thing for him is to be this sort of enigmatic figure.
And if he's not, the best thing for him to be,
it's still
is an enigmatic
it has
figure.
worked well for him, except for the raid by the Australian government on his house, which is pretty modest for a guy who has billions of dollars.
Yeah,
I mean.
Worth of Bitcoin, you mean?
Right. So Craig Wright could,
if he has that,
if he's Satoshi, just go ahead and live like, I don't know, a multi-billionaire and stop messing around with people's Bitcoin cash.
Yes, but he is being financed by a legitimate multi-billionaire, Calvin Ayre, who is the head of CoinGeek and the founder of Bodog,
which is a gambling platform.
Which is a legendary online gambling platform, and
that's how he made his money. I was reading a little bit about this guy. Never heard of him before, 24 hours ago.
Yeah,
but
he is legit. He's a self-made multi-billionaire, and he is financing this entire operation. And some say that he financed the Craig Wright as Satoshi operation as well.
So this guy also, you mentioned CoinGeek. That is currently the biggest mining operation as far as Bitcoin Cash is concerned. So for listeners who are unfamiliar, behind cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, there are miners, and they are the ones who provide the computing hash power to essentially make sure the network is secure, to process transactions, to take the waiting transactions from the mempool that are just freshly sort of put out there, and then put them down permanently into what's called the blockchain, which is the public ledger that backs up Bitcoin, the decentralized distributed public ledger.
That's right.
And so this guy from CoinGeek, what was his name again?
Calvin Ayre.
Calvin Ayre. He's teaming up with this Craig Satoshi wannabe fake Satoshi guy, we don't know. And they're the two main players behind this push to split Bitcoin Cash into two.
Yes.
And not only just split it into two, but they want to actually somehow stamp out or create a hash war against the original Bitcoin Cash.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
What's that going to look like, Vin? Because that sounds bad.
Yeah, it is something that has never happened before. So, as you said before, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash did split
back in August of 2017.
They did,
and they were struggling for hash power, right? Because there's the question of how many of the Bitcoin BTC miners are going to switch to Bitcoin Cash, and we didn't know. And initially it was only like 5%, but then more came on, and so but that wasn't a hash war.
That's not a hash war because the networks actually were separated from each other in that they could not share transactions back and forth between one another.
Okay.
So basically, and that was through the implementation of something called replay protection, but basically the way that you could look at it is every Bitcoin Cash transaction will be automatically rejected by a Bitcoin BTC node if it receives it going to it.
That's the protection.
Right. And vice versa. If I send a BTC, because these nodes can connect to one another. They actually can be connected. Like a BTC, a node can be connected to a BCH node. They would just reject everything that was coming from one another, so it doesn't make sense.
Because that replay protection
protection. These guys basically created another implementation that has different consensus rules, so it would not be compatible with the implementation made by Bitcoin ABC,
which is Bitcoin Cash.
That's what's running Bitcoin Cash.
ABC is the program.
Yeah, it's called Adjustable Block Size Cap. And so they made one called SV, Satoshi's Vision. And what they're going to do is there's no replay protection. So they're going to be relaying transactions back and forth between each other, even though they're each building on their own blockchain.
Okay, so let's see if we can explain this in another way. The split happens. The schism occurs. There's now Bitcoin SV. And there's the
Bitcoin ABC.
And there's the original Bitcoin Cash, aka Bitcoin ABC.
Right.
These are now two different blockchains.
That's right.
But they have the initial, up until the point of the split, they're the same.
Yes.
So that's why we were saying earlier, if you have, let's say, two Bitcoin Cash, and then this schism happens, you then have two Bitcoin Cash, and then you have two of the Bitcoin SV.
That's what's so weird about it.
No?
You don't. Because if I have two Bitcoin Cash and I send you one Bitcoin Cash, I will send it onto both. If I have it from before the split, it'll automatically send it onto both, and it'll be there. And then if I try to read it and I try to you try to send some now to Mark, it'll send those on both.
Right.
So basically what you have is you're going to have three classes of transactions. You're going to have transactions that are valid right now. those will go onto both blockchains. And then you're going to have these new forms of transactions that will be either valid on one or the other. But what these guys are going to try to do is, it's basically like you split the network. Don't think about it in computer terms. Think about it in war terms. They're going to split the network, gaining all of the same transactions, and then they're going to take their hash power over and they're going to attack the other network and try to make it unusable. So you and I, we're sending our transactions. It's perfectly fine. It's getting put onto one or the other blockchain. They're going to protect their ledger and then hope that they can harass the other ledger so hard that all exchanges, wallets, everybody is like, oh, that's an unsafe part of town.
Well, already...
sounds like both parts of town are unsafe.
Yeah.
It sounds like the town is about to be on fire.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon when these, Bitcoin schisms happen for exchanges and wallets to freeze any kind of action until after the dust settles.
But who knows when the dust
But you're
will settle.
saying the dust may not settle for quite a while. There's more coming up here in moments. If you want to weigh in on this potential schism, which seems to be a likely schism coming up here in the next day or two, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,410. Antiwar.com reports while there has been a lot of progress in recent months on improving ties on the Korean Peninsula, North Korea state media warned on Monday that the resumption of military drills between the U.S. and South Korea violated a recent agreement. On September 19th, North and South Korea signed an agreement which was intended to bar either side from taking any action that might be perceived as hostile. This was intended to include military exercises with the United States. The U.S. government was not a party to that deal, which was between the Koreas. They have, however, gone out of their way to reduce the number of war games being conducted in South Korea. As tensions have risen recently, however, the U.S. may be looking to conduct more such exercises. South Korea downplayed the complaints, not directly denying that they weren't violating the agreement, but rather insisting that the exercises were very small and purely defensive. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports Amazon plans to announce it will split its second headquarters between New York and Northern Virginia, according to reports released Monday night. The Washington Post reported Amazon will announce plans to open its newest headquarters in New York City and Crystal City, Virginia, as early as Tuesday, citing people close to the decision-making process who spoke on the condition of anonymity after signing non-disclosure agreements with the company. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, previously said the company expects HQ2 to be a full equal to our Seattle headquarters, which employs about 50,000 workers. The Wall Street Journal reported the headquarters will be split evenly between the New York and Virginia locations, also citing people familiar with the matter. Crystal City was identified as a potential location for Amazon's second headquarters last week after the Washington Post reported Amazon has inquired how quickly it can move employees to Northern Virginia to staff the campus and how the announcement should be made. Amazon Economic Development Director Mike Grela rebuked the genius responsible for the leak, stating it was not doing the city any favors and encouraging the leaker to stop treating the non-disclosure agreement like a used napkin. A total of 238 locations initially submitted proposals to host the headquarters before the field was narrowed down to about 20 finalists. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports the number of international students entering U.S. colleges and universities has fallen for the second year in a row, according to a nonprofit group on Tuesday, amid efforts by the Trump administration to tighten restrictions on foreigners studying in the United States. New enrollments for the 2017-2018 school year slumped 6.6% compared with the previous year, according to an annual survey released by the Institute for International Education. That follows a 3.3% decline in new international students tallied in the 2016-2017 academic year. Several factors are driving the decrease. Visa and immigration policy changes by the Trump administration have deterred some international students from enrolling, according to college administrators and immigration analysts. Alan Goodman, president of IIE, said a strong U.S. dollar has made U.S. college tuition relatively more expensive. International students have become an important funding source for American colleges as traditional revenue sources, such as state funding, come under pressure. Similar to previous years, the largest number of students come from China, India, and South Korea, which together make up 56.1% of all international students. Some immigration policy experts and college administrators attribute the decline to the Trump administration's drive to restrict immigration and an overall sense of U.S. political climate that is hostile to immigrants and foreigners. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
During a curt Skype session earlier this afternoon, local Williamsburg resident 29-year-old Cormac Flanagan reminded his mother to, quote, try and be more careful after she forgot to pay his cell phone bill.
Mom, the phone company called today about my cell phone bill.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot.
No, Mom, I'm not mad, but you have to stay on top of these things, you know.
I know,
You can't keep waiting until the last minute like this. Well, I don't want to have to keep reminding you every month. You know, I need my phone. I use it every day. I need my phone. I'm constantly using it.
I'm so bad. I'm really sorry. I'll get on it today.
All right, you know, just so you know, this really easy thing you can do. You know, there's this online auto pay. It just deducts in your bank account every month.
Yeah,
quite easy.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
It's fine. Just don't let it become a pattern. You know, I know you can do better than this.
Okay. I promise. I'll get on it today. Okay.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just jump on into those. They're right at the top of our list of chat rooms over on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. We're going to get to your phone calls here with you tonight. By the way, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about this upcoming Bitcoin Cash war that is scheduled to kick off, according to cash.coin.dance, in 1 day and 16 hours from now, basically, is when the beginning salvos may be fired in this hash war. We're going to continue that discussion here, and of course your calls and thoughts on anything that's on your mind is welcome. Let's go to Greg in New York. You're on Free Talk Live, listening at freetalklive.com. Hey, Greg.
So I've been calling in for a while, and, you guys kind of know me as a socialist libertarian, if that, is not an oxymoron. But I kind of wanted to talk a bit about cryptocurrency.
Sure.
And maybe tell you a bit about, what I've been doing, but mostly about cryptocurrency and how I think it can bring about libertarian socialism.
All right.
So I'm a voluntarist socialist. I want there to be less ownership, less government. And by less ownership, I mean, for example, that the promise of cryptocurrency was that you could pay for open source projects by essentially having the developers build them, make money off of the first sale of the tokens, and then the network would not be owned by a single entity. In fact, there would be no entity or gatekeepers or rent seekers to inflate and control everybody. But it would be owned by the participants, and everyone would own just what they had, their token, their account, etc.
Okay.
So that was the vision, but mostly that doesn't happen. And the reason that doesn't happen is because the technology that's used is based on proof of work, and it's very slow. It doesn't scale. And even proof of stake.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what you mean there. So the proof of work is the kind of the traditional Bitcoin mining setup where these computers are just cranking away, doing very complex math, proving that they're working to secure the network, basically. I'm sure I'm glossing over some very important technical concepts.
At a high level, that's pretty much what people need to know.
Proof of stake tends to be where you have some of the thing, so a cryptocurrency that is proof of stake. You have some. It's staked, meaning it's staying in one place, and that somehow results in mining happening. I'm still not sure exactly how proof of stake works.
You are able to receive, it's basically the rich get richer. You're able to receive pro rata the number of blocks corresponding to, you're able to mine the number of blocks. Yeah, so it's like if you have 50% of the network, you're going to mine 50% of the blocks. If you have 50% of what is staked, that's the rich get richer, basically.
And some cryptos have a mix of the two, and
Dash is something like a mix of kind of a hybrid because they have the masternode system, kind of not
that's exactly
really,
the same, but
similar. And Ethereum wants to go to proof of stake.
All right.
Yeah. So, by the way, the rich get richer is because those who mine the blocks are rewarded with new currency, and there's a reason why, because they want people to run validators. To make sure there's no double spending. I would also argue that in proof of work, also the rich get richer. If you can afford more hash rate and more ASICs, then obviously you'll get more currency. So it takes money to make money in these systems anyway.
Well, I mean, that's always a true statement. Yes. Although that said, I took a bath on my Bitcoin.com mining contract recently and lost about half of my original investment. But it's not uncommon. I mean, everybody I've ever known who's gotten into mining has lost. So, I mean, I know there's winners out there, obviously. Otherwise, people wouldn't keep doing it.
I won on mine, but I didn't. But I did it differently than you did, and some time ago.
Yeah. So the difference with proof of work and proof of stake in regards to the rich get richer is that with proof of stake, it really is just the amount of capital in terms of the tokens that you own. But with proof of work, there can be disruptive new technologies that come in, which is basically what happened when you moved from CPU processors to graphic processors, and now to ASICs, which are specific to a specific blockchain. So, and the ASICs keep getting better and better. So it's like there is the chance for new technology to disrupt the entire industry, and so there's a great incentive for people to develop more and more powerful chips, which and cheaper and cheaper electricity.
Which is why we've seen graphics cards going like crazy. They're selling like crazy.
And so there's a great economic effect in that even now you've got miners who are actually building power plants attached to their mining operations. So you have
doing huge solar arrays.
Absolutely. So there's this whole other outside thing with the proof of work, whereas there's all this economic activity to create to be more efficient in doing the proof of work.
But proof of stake doesn't do any of that.
You do not have any of that.
Interesting.
Right.
How's that all tie into what you're going to say about socialism? Libertarian.
I don't know. It reminds me of Harrison Bergeron, the Kurt Vonnegut story, where
I like
the guy that had the big body and could do more work was weighed down with weights because we wanted to make everything fair.
Yeah,
I
love that story.
Proof of work. People with more able to do more work get more money. Well, isn't that good?
I like that.
By a communist standard, by a standard by he who does not work does not eat.
I don't know about a communist standard, and I'm not here to force anybody to work, but I do want to say that the work done by solving these hashes is totally useless for any other purpose rather than proving that you did the work. So innovations and how to do more hashes. See, here's the thing. No matter how many computers you throw at the Bitcoin network, it will still only be able to do 7 or less transactions per second, because there is one miner who solves that hash, and all transactions must go through that miner. The network cannot be sharded.
Well, but that's actually demonstrably not true, because in the last several days there were 32 meg blocks mined on Bitcoin Cash consecutively, which equals out to 224 transactions per second. So what you're saying is actually absolutely not true.
Well, he said Bitcoin. He said Bitcoin. He didn't say Bitcoin Cash.
Well, that's just because of a block size cap. That has
which is what originally created Bitcoin Cash.
Absolutely.
Because back, for listeners who were with us in the summer of 2017, the big controversy, and we called it a geek war, but apparently the geek war has yet to actually begin. That's going to start in less than 2 days.
Well, it's World War Geek 2.
Right, this is World War II. In this case, we called it a geek war simply because of all the nastiness online where people were attacking one another, and they couldn't agree on increasing the block size. That was one of the key factors that split people.
It was the key factor.
Right. And so the Bitcoin Cash people said we need to increase the block size so we can have more transactions per second, and that's what solves that problem.
That's
Greg.
it. Yeah, there's no technical impediment. It's just changing a configuration in the code.
Yes and no. It's true that Bitcoin Cash can have larger blocks, and therefore you can have an order of magnitude more transactions, maybe 300 per second. But, if you're talking about the original vision was a peer-to-peer payment system, a cash system where I could pay you, and in parallel, a million other people could pay a million other people, and it would do them all. And, what I'm trying to say is that when all transactions have to go through one miner, then that miner has to receive all those transactions. It's actually centralized through that miner for that particular block. And it's worse than that because you don't know who's going to be the miner. So you have to send every transaction to every potential miner in advance.
Well, you only have to send it to one. You only have to send it to one, and then that one relays it throughout the network. It's a many-to-many system. So when you broadcast your transaction, you only broadcast your transaction to one node. The miners are incentivized to share information with one another because some of the information that they're sharing is helping them to build blocks. So really what they're all doing is they're trying to find a block, and they're all competing.
But those transactions need to find their way to every miner. That's my point.
All right, I want to hear how this ties into libertarian socialism.
I do too.
Hang on, Greg. More coming up here in moments. Your calls, thoughts, welcome. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Rather than quibbling over differences in explaining cryptocurrency and technical objections, because if you don't like the way Bitcoin works, you can start your own crypto. And I happen to know that I think Greg's actually working on that. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh, My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas.
I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours, ld2coin.io.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
In addition to creating a Twitter account, Pope Benedict XVI plans to further connect with Christian youth by giving up on Catholicism. Quote, in order to really relate to modern teens, he needs to make religion a much smaller part of his busy life, just like they do. And it's already working. Tweets like, can someone go to church for me, LOL, hashtag sleeping in, have been retweeted over 1 million times by lazy Catholic teens, while tweets like, if God was real, how come there's so much murder, and I'm still Catholic, I just don't go to church or believe in Jesus, have been especially successful with college students who are questioning the church's teaching.
It's really cool to see that the Pope is as active on social media and as skeptical about God as I am. Look, he just tweeted, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. That's totally how I feel.
Pope Benedict's aides say his next project involves reaching out to Muslims by sitting down with Islamic leaders and proclaiming his undying allegiance to Allah.
This is the Onion News Network.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in, toll free, bring up whatever's on your mind. We're talking cryptocurrency here tonight as the potential war, potentially inevitable war, actually, according to various different sources. Vin Armani's here in the studio with us between Bitcoin Cash supporters of what's called Bitcoin ABC. That's the program basically, that is behind the scenes at the Bitcoin Cash world, and this new challenger in the form of Bitcoin SV, which they say stands for Satoshi's vision, because they know what Satoshi's true vision is. Just like any religious split.
Of course it is.
One side says they know what the vision of the founder is. The other side says they know what the vision of the founder is.
Isn't that every religious schism is
It
that?
is. It truly,
That's literally what it is.
Whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, or whether it's Bitcoin Cash.
I hear Thanos saying, the hardest decisions require the strongest will.
So we're going to get back into it, and we can talk more about what's coming up because we're less than 2 days from the beginning of this Bitcoin Cash war. As we continue here, I do want to make sure that you know about the Tom Woods podcast. A lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times bestselling author. He's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And since September of 2013, Tom Woods has been putting out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday, which means he's gotten over 1,200 episodes in the can so far. You can download them through TomWoods.com. You can also search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. And, of course, he's had great guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and more. He's talked about all kinds of topics like the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. So check him out at TomWoods.com as we continue here. We're back with Greg in New York. You had called in about the world of cryptocurrency. We talked about some of the differences between mining techniques and trying, our best to explain these things as simply as possible because this isn't a cryptocurrency show, even though we've been talking about it for the last hour.
Right.
It's a general audience, a general interest show, but we think cryptocurrency is so important. We want people to grasp some of the basic concepts behind it because cryptocurrency isn't going anywhere. No. Whether Bitcoin Cash lives or dies this week, cryptocurrency is here to stay.
Absolutely.
And anyway, Greg, you call yourself a libertarian socialist. You were going to somehow tie in your opinions about cryptocurrency with libertarian socialism, and I wanted to make sure you had a chance to do that.
Thanks. Yeah, and I wanted to make just a couple quick points. I think that Satoshi made a great thing. I don't care what his original vision was. I more care about what works. And I think my personal opinion is that Bitcoin and Ethereum are sort of the MySpace of of what's happening. Like, I was when social media was coming out, MySpace and Friendster were like the big things, and Facebook was an unknown. And now, obviously, the MySpace has lost to Facebook. So I see the same thing happening. There's new technologies that are far, far more scalable, and there's no single bottleneck like a miner or something like that. Everything's parallel. Everyone owns their token or their group activity, and they don't rely on one particular central point. And so those technologies, I think, will improve
Isn't
scalability.
this, to some extent, I mean, pardon my ignorance, Greg. I'm sure you're far more enmeshed in this than I am, but I'm just sitting here on the outside. Isn't that kind of what, like, IOTA is trying to do to some extent? It's
another crypto, but it's a different style
right. I mean, it stands for Internet of Things, but what they're talking about is basically you do the transaction for your neighbor, and then they do it, and there's some
right. IOTA is different. So, when we talk about when we've discussed cryptocurrencies, generally most of them are based off of Bitcoin. IOTA is different. It's one of the few cryptos out there that they seem to have created on their own. And I remember reading about it a couple of years ago when it first came out. And the idea was that each node in the IOTA chain, whether it be your own personal computer or this coffee maker that you have or whatever ends up being the Internet of Things, that in order to send a transaction, it must solve two waiting transactions, which they say solves the scaling issue because
seems to.
It solves the scaling issue purportedly. So that's the idea there, where it wouldn't be centralized. Is that what you're asking about, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several different approaches, and there's many, many different approaches. There's Stellar. There are others. Made Safe has a completely different approach, which I personally like a lot. And yeah, these are innovations the same way that there were relational databases, and you had MySQL and Postgres, and then you had all these non-SQL databases for a while, and people innovated, So I see these as the same way, except these databases are not owned by one entity; they're owned by many entities. But Bitcoin's not the be-all.
No, Bitcoin was just the first.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
we're not driving around, cars driven by steam engines or some kind of 9-volt battery anymore, or even a Model T Ford. There have been innovations.
But we are still using coins.
We are still using coins, but they're not pressed precious metals. They're just fakes of precious.
But we've been doing that since the Roman times. The Romans were using coins that had no
brass
metallic value.
Well, cryptocurrency is one of the biggest changes to money in the lifetime of money, basically.
But money innovations are very, very slow. It's not like
not anymore. They used to be slow because it was the government and the banks in charge of it. But the innovations, think about all the innovations that have happened.
What he's talking about, what Vin's talking about, adoption.
Yeah, in terms of because money takes a massive network effect. It's to disrupt money, you have to basically disrupt something at a very deep psychological level of human beings, because mostly money is an imaginary good for the most part. There's even gold. We assign gold a value, but it's at the end of the day, it's shiny metal, and that value is put on it by millennia of human beings believing it was worth something.
Right. The only reason you can sell me gold is because I understand other people will buy gold. But I note your fingers are not adorned with ornamentation, nor are mine, nor are Ian's, nor are Michael Hampton's. Nobody's got it in this room because we just don't value it.
That's right.
Yeah, I just wanted. So here's how I tie in socialism, and I could call back in about that specific topic. But here's what happened. Because this was not scalable, it wasn't used as a means of exchange. So people started holding it and speculating on it and trading it. When you trade, you hold it for long periods of time, and then you sell it maybe, and you try to make a profit. It's very different than use case. Okay, it's like, and again, I'm not a fan of the USSR, but Karl Marx mentioned for use, and he's not the only one, use value of a house versus speculative value of a house. And so people would have these courses in 2003 or 4 how to flip a house, and that led to destabilizing the housing bubble, because if you could speculate on houses,
it could do something with it could have something to do with the low cost of money at the time, and people and government trying to incentivize people who had no business being in houses in houses.
Predatory lending. Yeah.
Hold that thought, Greg. I'll bring it back because it's an interesting discussion. We'll continue here. How does this all tie in with libertarian socialism?
I'd like to know.
I'm not sure he's made that clear yet. So that's coming up. Your calls, your thoughts are also welcome, as we are here pretty much on the eve of this Bitcoin Cash network fight that is coming up in one day and just over 15 hours from now.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A a film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Your property and family are precious, so protect them with the Blink Home Security System. It's motion-activated HD cameras. They are wireless, and therefore the setup time is as minimal as it could possibly be. You unbox the cameras, put the batteries in. They're just AA, so when you finally need to replace them, which they'll last up to 2 years, by the way, it's no problem getting more AAs. You don't have to order some special battery. So pop the batteries in, put the cameras up wherever you want them, and set it all up via your Wi-Fi-enabled device. It is super easy to do. You decide when the cameras operate, how long the clip should be that they send to you. So it'll send you a clip if it sees something happening during the time frames that you specify. There's no contracts, there's no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get your Blink camera systems starting at less than $100 by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. As we go back to Greg in New York. Greg describes himself as a libertarian socialist. He is a fan of cryptocurrency, but you've got a bit of a different vision, and I wanted to have you, finish up your point about tying this in somehow, cryptocurrency and money, developments in that world to socialism or libertarian socialism.
Sure. So basically, I'm a fan of people using things, not just owning and speculating on them. So
Sure.
The original cryptocurrency with the vision was that people would use these tokens, and they would use them, and there would be no middlemen because they would have built and the network and profited off of the first sale only. But what crypto has turned into, because it is not scalable enough to be used all the time by millions of people, is speculative investment. And the government of the United States is actually, funny enough, it has restricted its socialist use and only allowed the capitalist use. So what I mean by that is utility tokens, which I consider to be more socialist, have been sort of, this SEC has said that pretty much every token is a security by the Howey test. This is from a court case, Howey versus U.S. government, that said that as long as your capital is at risk and there's expectation of profit from the efforts of others in a common enterprise. So most of these companies are a common enterprise, and based on their efforts, your currency may be worth more. And those are security tokens. So the SEC has basically driven out, at least for now, the utility token market. And in the last year, you don't see any more ICOs as much. You see STOs.
ICOs are the initial coin offerings. These are a decentralized way of an organization, a group, or a company doing fundraising, basically by crowdsourcing that fundraising through one of these initial coin offerings. And what you're talking about is the tokens that are sold in these initial coin offerings in order to raise funds. These tokens have been sort of described in different ways, one of them called a utility token, the other a security token.
Yep.
And you're saying that the security
token isn't like a security device. A security token is like a tradable security on
stock.
Yeah, it's like a stock.
Yeah.
And you're saying that now the utility token concept has gone away?
I'm saying the utility token concept is mostly hard to do an ICO in the United States because that would be considered an unregistered security offering. Because unlike Switzerland and other countries, the SEC views almost every utility token that's doing an ICO as a security. And as a result, the only tokens that are now doing it are the ones that are securities. So that's capitalism, and that's fine. But I'm simply saying that the socialist use, the actual using of tokens in a network, has mostly been chilled by the U.S. government and other governments because they do consider them to be speculative investment vehicles.
What is the socialist? I'm still not understanding. What is the socialist use exactly? What would make using a token to purchase something socialist or capitalist? Where's the difference?
So if you had a stable coin, let's say you had a token that was totally pegged to the U.S. dollar, right? If you were able to achieve that, no one would buy them in order to speculate, right? No one buys tethers thinking that they're going to go to $30. So if you had tokens like that, then you would be able to sell them and only attract those people who would actually use them for their intended purpose, like a Netflix token or a laundromat token, as opposed to buying them and holding them only to be resold to someone else.
So do you consider the U.S. dollar then to be a socialist token? Because that's exactly how people use the U.S. dollar.
I think it's a currency, and certainly it enables people to use things much better than if dollars were hoarded.
But is it socialist?
Well, to me, socialism, I like to say I want to see less ownership. So I consider property to be just as violent an institution as government. Because to defend property, you need to exclude others by force from certain things.
You've explained that before, and I think it's a great explanation. However, I would ask you this. You want less ownership. And what does less ownership look like? Because to me, we live in a world where there's ownership of everything. There may be government ownership of something, and they may claim that it's public, but they're lying, and everybody knows it. That there are, like for instance, there's a park down the road here. I can't go with a shovel and begin planting corn because it's not mine. And it never was.
We actually had an activist try that about a decade ago, and he got arrested for it.
Yeah. That's because, I mean, well, it
turns out it wasn't his property.
I wouldn't want him to be able to plant corn there either, but ultimately,
if it's his land, then he should be able to.
Somebody owns everything. So please tell me what.
Well, that's what.
Looks like.
So less ownership looks like you live in your house, you use your house. That's totally valid. You owning 1,000 houses or 1,000,000 houses is ownership beyond what you would normally use yourself or your family. It's now there to perhaps speculate. A lot of houses would sit empty.
Who decides?
And that's true.
Yeah, who makes that decision? Because what if I want to have 1,000 acres of land, and that's because I'm going to plant an orchard?
No one should be making that decision. The system should not allow people to reach that point simply by virtue, like the cryptocurrency system does not allow one particular entity like Facebook to own every account and have.
Wait, are you saying that you can't have an orange grove or an apple orchard?
You should be able to have anything you want. It's just that the system would make it very, very hard to own things that other people actually use, or to deny them the use of a house or land or anything to a great extent.
The system that you're envisioning, or the system that we currently have?
Well, the system we currently have is a mix of socialism and capitalism. But I would like to see less ownership of things that you're never going to use yourself. And John Locke had the same thing when he talked about homesteading. He said a man should not own so much land that he lets the vegetables simply rot in the field because, well, he owns it and no one else can take those vegetables.
Nobody likes to see waste. Nobody likes to see waste.
I don't know how often that happens, but let me ask you this. What I've seen in the marketplace is that wealthy people drive innovation. That, some years ago, there were these ideas of flat screen plasma TVs. And man, I thought that was really cool. A flat TV you hung on the wall like a picture frame. Hot darn it.
If you had $100,000, you could have had one there.
Absolutely. Right. And they were like $10,000. And only a madman would spend that kind of money. Now I can go down to Walmart and I can buy one of these. It's better than the plasma that was on. Yeah. Seriously. It's like $350 for a full-size TV that you hang on the wall. And this happens all over the place. How do you expect to create innovation in a marketplace where there aren't rich people?
Do you want him to answer that question?
I do.
All right. More coming up here with our guest, Greg, in New York.
Well, so he calls it with good stuff. I mean, he's not a dumb guy.
One of the more intelligent callers we've got. Our toll-free number here is 850. Doesn't mean he's right, but he's intelligent. 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Epigenetics and the Sins of the Father. God said, mansaid.com. U.S. colleges, new mental institutions. Close Satan's secret door. God said, mansaid.com. Mummies and the sons of Ham. Alcohol and Christians. Geologists say yes to crucifixion. God said, mansaid.com. Which religion? Which Bible? Quantum physics to Adam's rib. Hours of text and streaming audio. God said, mansaid.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive.
It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in. Toll-free number here for you is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line room, so jump on over to discord.lrn.fm and you can get into one of those rooms. We'll get you on the air and you can talk about anything that you want. By the way, thanks to RC, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier, meaning he gives $5 a month to this program, the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And it's a simple concept. You send $5 a month into us. We then invest it into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations. Got 194 great AM and FM radio stations across the United States that air this show at various different times throughout the week. And we can have 300. It's just, it takes time, it takes money, it takes marketing, and that's what the AMP program helps us do. So you can help us with that, like RC has done, and he's become a silver amplifier, which is that $5 a month level. If you feel like doing more, you can. Either way, there's no difference between the levels. It's just, if you want to give more, you can. But you get all the same perks, basically, if you are at whatever level you're at. And there are different perks. There's the perk of the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the normal commercials our regular podcast does. There's also the AMP-only Facebook group. There's some special contributors areas on our Discord server. So get on over to amp.freetalklive.com. You can sign up with PayPal. You can use credit card. And you can use Bitcoin BTC. So go to amp.freetalklive.com. It's Ian, Vin, and Mark in the studio here. We are going on with a lengthy conversation with Greg in New York that has covered Bitcoin, it's covered cryptocurrency, and now we're getting into Greg's socialist philosophy where he wants to see less ownership. And you gave the example, Greg, of a homeowner. Somebody can own a house because you live in that house, but having 1,000 houses, you couldn't possibly live in those, so therefore that's too far for you.
Right, it's the shtick, the old socialist shtick of you may have possessions, you may not have property. This is the distinction that they make.
And
so
to some
you could have a hammer to do carpentry work, but you may not rent hammers to carpenters to do work.
And to some extent, I can empathize with the viewpoint of not wanting to see property go to waste. I don't want to see somebody just owning land for the sake of owning it when somebody else might be willing to actually do something with the land. So I get that, and I don't begrudge him for having that perspective.
I feel like that doesn't even really happen though. Like, I mean,
the federal government certainly owns a lot of land, and they just
I'm saying,
sit on it.
Well, that's I think that is perhaps a little more socialist than capitalist. When I think about capitalism, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, and I've worked in tech. And currently, the company that I founded is venture-backed, which means venture capitalists have backed our company. They've invested in our company to get a piece of the company, and we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. We wouldn't be able to grow if they weren't willing to take on some of that risk and contribute money that they have either saved or earned or whatever it is to us for a piece of the company. But it sounds like under this model that we're talking about here that they wouldn't have been allowed. You
wouldn't have needed it. The money would have come from heaven.
Or they wouldn't have been allowed to save it because they wouldn't have. Why would they possibly need all of that money? No person could possibly need $1 million.
Well, Mark, you had asked Greg a question before we went to break. I don't know if you made a note about what that question was.
So the question was basically, how does innovation, how does the market innovate without rich people? And I use the example of TV sets, the flat screen TVs hanging on the wall back, 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, were really expensive. Now they're cheap as heck. What the rich people did who bought those TVs
for $80,000.
They were that high at one point. They signaled the market that it was important to have TVs that looked like picture frames that you could hang on the wall. And because somebody was willing to pay $80,000 for what was, a step up from a prototype, I am now able to have one for $400, which is about my price threshold. Greg?
First of all, let me say I like capitalism. I'm not one of those people that says capitalism is bad or something.
I don't like it or hate it. It is just an economic system,
Yeah.
and it's the one that seems to be the default. So, please.
It's the economic system that has helped us to get to where we are. It has pluses, it has some minuses, and it's not perfect, just like any other economic system. But to answer your question, that's a very good question. Can you develop things without accumulating capital in one specific place and having that place call the shot? First of all, I'm happy to have venture capitalists. My own company is funded in part by
But it has to
investors
be.
who want to see a return.
That's not like it's right, but it just has to be.
So yeah, there are investors and they need to see a return. Now the question is, what's better, taking all the risk and then owning, because no one will take the risk on a drug, for example, unless you have a patent and you own intellectual property, which I know many of you guys don't believe in. So we can start there, mutual
But people
agreement.
did take risks before drugs were patentable.
Yeah, intellectual property. Dr. Mary Ruwart, one-time Libertarian candidate for president, reported that she was, in fact, a research chemist for a major pharmaceutical, and that basically they didn't even really use the patent system as recently as 20 or 30 years ago. That it's really ramped up recently, and this is now we've seen a stagnation in the market with intellectual property.
And people take risks on non-patented medicine all the time. I mean, herbal supplements are a multi-billion dollar industry, and
Great
that's
point.
all non-patentable.
People are going down to South America to get stem cell transplants that may or may not be true simply because they want them. So they're putting
So in fact, guys, the arguments you're making against intellectual property, if you translate them to other domains, you're actually making a socialist argument. You're saying you don't need intellectual property to advance the state of the art because people all over the world will be contributing to a growing snowball of free information, like open source, Wikipedia, and other things. And I want to see open source drugs. I want to see open source news. I want to see at least intellectual.
That's something that I agree with you on.
But I'm not sure that's socialist, though. I'm pretty sure that intellectual property is much more socialist because it requires centralization. It requires a centralized state. Whereas if you removed, I don't know that you can have socialism without a centralized state.
I think.
Well, sorry to interrupt.
Greg,
I just
hold on, Greg. Let me help you parse this just a second. When you say less ownership, that is confusing to libertarians.
Yeah.
Use the terminology more decentralization, because you don't want centralization of property. You don't want property collected in fewer hands. You want it in as many hands as it possibly can be.
So that's actually more ownership.
That's right. So to my mind, that's more ownership, not less. You don't want any less or more ownership.
So you're right.
You want the decentralization of ownership.
So I've learned over, it's unfortunate, but the word socialism has become associated with its opposite, which is totalitarianism. And basically, you're saying you need a central government. So instead of using the word socialism, I like to say collaboration. And instead of using capitalism, I like to say competition. So I am saying more collaboration will improve the state of the art faster than competition between siloed, Windows, Internet Explorer, or drugs and intellectual property. The less enforcement of intellectual property there is, I think the more, the faster we can get there. And I'm not saying about TVs. I'm not saying that we can apply this in every area. But I think the next area would be land and water and air, because I think there's a similar argument that you can't own ideas. You can't own too much of water or air that you're not using. And that's what I mean by socialism. But I think collaboration...
Greg, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate the discussion. Very interesting topic, and one that I'm sure we'll continue to discuss on into the future. And I like your suggestions, Mark, of changing the terminology. Rather than evoking socialism, which, of course, you think Venezuela, you think all these abusive, violent governments, instead of talking about socialism, talking about decentralizing, talking about cooperation. That's something you can start to communicate with people about.
Well, the next step in this, the next question is once you decentralize or force or incentivize decentralization, that's what's been done with the monetary system to some extent through its the government, central banks having the ability to create money, which then disincentivizes thrift. Thrift is holding money, right? Like hoarding money.
What you're saying is inflation disincentivizes savings.
Thrift is an aspect, is an indicator of morality as we've come to understand it currently. So if I am not thrifty, I am likely to be fat, drunk, violent, a whole bunch of things, right? And just think about all the things that when you are wasting money, you're
like a government agent, basically.
Yeah. Well, whatever it might be.
Thrift is the opposite of hedonism, basically.
Right, and thrift is incentivized by a Austrian economic system. Thrift is incentivized in the marketplace to some extent. If you're thrifty in your youth, you will be wealthy in your old age, versus if you are a spendthrift, which is a really term I hate. If you're just spend a bunch of money in your youth, you probably won't be.
All right, the toll-free number if you want to join us, got a full hour to go, 855-450. Free like freedom.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,410. Antiwar.com reports while there has been a lot of progress in recent months on improving ties on the Korean Peninsula, North Korea state media warned on Monday that the resumption of military drills between the U.S. and South Korea violated a recent agreement. On September 19th, North and South Korea signed an agreement which was intended to bar either side from taking any action that might be perceived as hostile. This was intended to include military exercises with the United States. The U.S. government was not a party to that deal, which was between the Koreas. They have, however, gone out of their way to reduce the number of war games being conducted in South Korea. As tensions have risen recently, however, the U.S. may be looking to conduct more such exercises. South Korea downplayed the complaints, not directly denying that they weren't violating the agreement, but rather insisting that the exercises were very small and purely defensive. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports Amazon plans to announce it will split its second headquarters between New York and Northern Virginia, according to reports released Monday night. The Washington Post reported Amazon will announce plans to open its newest headquarters in New York City and Crystal City, Virginia, as early as Tuesday, citing people close to the decision-making process who spoke on the condition of anonymity after signing non-disclosure agreements with the company. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, previously said the company expects HQ2 to be a full equal to our Seattle headquarters, which employs about 50,000 workers. The Wall Street Journal reported the headquarters will be split evenly between the New York and Virginia locations, also citing people familiar with the matter. Crystal City was identified as a potential location for Amazon's second headquarters last week after the Washington Post reported Amazon has inquired how quickly it can move employees to Northern Virginia to staff the campus and how the announcement should be made. Amazon Economic Development Director Mike Grela rebuked the genius responsible for the leak, stating it was not doing the city any favors and encouraging the leaker to stop treating the non-disclosure agreement like a used napkin. A total of 238 locations initially submitted proposals to host the headquarters before the field was narrowed down to about 20 finalists. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports the number of international students entering U.S. colleges and universities has fallen for the second year in a row, according to a nonprofit group on Tuesday, amid efforts by the Trump administration to tighten restrictions on foreigners studying in the United States. New enrollments for the 2017-2018 school year slumped 6.6% compared with the previous year, according to an annual survey released by the Institute for International Education. That follows a 3.3% decline in new international students tallied in the 2016-2017 academic year. Several factors are driving the decrease. Visa and immigration policy changes by the Trump administration have deterred some international students from enrolling, according to college administrators and immigration analysts. Alan Goodman, president of IIE, said a strong U.S. dollar has made U.S. college tuition relatively more expensive. International students have become an important funding source for American colleges as traditional revenue sources, such as state funding, come under pressure. Similar to previous years, the largest number of students come from China, India, and South Korea, which together make up 56.1% of all international students. Some immigration policy experts and college administrators attribute the decline to the Trump administration's drive to restrict immigration and an overall sense of U.S. political climate that is hostile to immigrants and foreigners. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After briefly reviewing several documents outlining his parents' dire financial circumstances today, 23-year-old Wesleyan University graduate Zach Wallace told reporters he had, quote, absolutely no clue how his mother and father are going to dig themselves out of the $35,000 of student loan debt they incurred to pay for his college education.
I mean, this is going to be really hard on my parents.
when I was in college, I just assumed that, they would pay off my student loans within a few years of me graduating. But I never realized how expensive college is going to be for them.
Wallace, who graduated with a film studies degree in 2012 and has since had 2 unpaid internships, told reporters that from the way prevailing interest rates are trending, his parents could easily be paying off his debt for the next quarter century.
They're going to be paying for the rest of their lives. And on top of it all, they have to help me out with my rent, too. I mean, it sucks. It really, really sucks.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. The first hour, we talked mostly about cryptocurrency and the impending war between Bitcoin Cash and some challengers who believe they know the true way Bitcoin Cash should be. And they're
Satoshi's vision.
They're going to spend a whole lot of money trying to prove it by going heavy into a hash war. We can talk more about that. Second hour of the show ended up being a conversation about libertarian socialism in relation to cryptocurrency, property ownership, and Greg was on the line with us for most of it. He's actually now in our chat room over at the Discord server, so if you didn't hear enough of Greg and you want to talk to him yourself, he's there. In fact, the folks on the Discord server over the last few nights have been very active in the voice chat room as well. There was like a dozen people in there last night after the show.
Wow.
And they're having a lot of fun on the Discord server. It's free. You can go and get interactive with the other listeners and some of the hosts of the program and some of the other great shows on LRN.FM. So go to discord.lrn.fm and you can do that. As we go to your phone calls and thoughts, by the way, with you in the studio, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Let's go to David. He's in San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Oh, howdy. Yeah, boy, you hit a real couple of good calls there. That was very, very interesting. For years, I've been pushing this idea that we need to either do a jubilee or just abandon the concept of money, because it's supposed to represent our reputations. But if somebody comes along and steals,
wait a minute. How is money supposed to represent your reputation?
Well, the more you acquire, it's supposed to represent in some way your acumen and abilities.
But that's not necessarily true. I mean, I can see why somebody might say that, but certainly people have acquired money through some illegitimate means,
or
like
inheritance or whatever.
Like the government.
A baby
sure.
could acquire an inheritance.
New money. Yeah, new money kids and that sort of thing. So that's not. It doesn't really hold true. And tell me what you mean by a jubilee. What is that?
Well, and that goes to the idea that if society is supposed to be held together with money, with some sort of a social network which everybody believes in. I use green paper. You all use the same green paper, but it's on the other side of the continent. It's commonly believed that it has value.
Mm-hmm.
But if some evil tyrant acquires a massive amount, and the previous caller was talking about hoarding money, which is very common, and that's been discussed, I think, even in the New Testament. The idea of don't bury your money in the ground. You're supposed to work it. And the idea that
the New Testament prohibitions against usury probably kept Europe in the Middle Ages for at least 500 years. I mean, the Dark Ages were perpetuated by usury laws.
Well, if you're living in a desert, you don't have the ability to pay 2% interest on a note. You don't have the ability to pay 1% if you're living in...
What are you talking about?
But why would usury laws? Usury laws are prohibitions against giving interest for loaning money. But the question is if I can't get interest on my loan, why would I lend money?
Because it has other advantages to you. If somebody decides if you lend money, to build a canal, an irrigation canal, and then that canal is able to help your agricultural system work, it becomes a structural advantage, and everybody gains by it.
That's a true statement.
Yeah, you're presuming that rich people are in control of some piece of land or something and want, irrigation. Like if I'm
he's pointing out you asked a question of why somebody would lend money. You said but somebody could lend money for the purpose of benefiting the community. That is a legitimate reason to do it. It's going to cut out a lot of people who just want to make money off of lending money. But
it also centralizes things or localizes things. So if I would be likely to lend for a canal that I see as necessary in my community. However, I would be unlikely to lend for a canal that someone might claim is necessary in 3 communities over. Right. How would I know?
Right.
Sure.
Well, the point that I'm leading to is that money. Most people have no training in economics. They have no training in basic money skills, much less macro or microeconomics. And so money, whether it's the super rich who just inherit it and have no concept of its value or worth, at the age of 15 they get a Maserati and they crash it into a tree right away,
right,
and then just go crying that they need another one. It's like the money is a game to most people, and it doesn't reflect the laws of physics. And the laws of physics say that for every action there's a separate and equal reaction, and the laws of economics says you can have a separate and equal reaction plus profit. Well, that defies the laws of physics. And so the very concept, and this is why I raised.
Okay, so how can you exist and defy the laws of physics? I'm pretty sure that's not.
Well, you end up with pollution.
What you're saying doesn't follow because the laws of physics do not govern wealth.
Well, you ever heard the expression externalized costs?
I've heard that.
That's the damages. That's the damages left behind by people who basically defy the laws of physics with money. They end up polluting the land. They end up evicting people who have been there for centuries. They end up
a lot of land that gets polluted actually ends up being polluted by companies that lease the land from the government, and the government doesn't really care about the land, so it doesn't care if the companies go in and strip mine or completely cut down all the trees without replanting, doing basically unsustainable things. Whereas when it's in the marketplace and you have land, you want to make sure that land is valuable at the end of it because you want to be able to sell it later on,
that's right,
hopefully for a profit. But if you strip mine it or you strip all the trees off of it or whatever the resource is that you're just completely decimating on that land, then it won't be worth as much. So the market actually has built-in incentives to protect land and to make sure that it's in okay shape. But to go back to your point that was, I think, deserves more explanation. You'd made this statement about laws of physics and money. Money's just a representation of wealth. Okay, so money is just one way to represent wealth. It's not a full representation of wealth. Wealth is expressed in a lot of different ways. Wealth can also simply be the things we have access to in addition to our savings or our money. So the fact that we have air conditioning, the fact that we have heating, the fact that we have, this internet to be able to communicate, all of these are wealth. These are factors of wealth. And these are things that have grown over time because most of these things didn't exist 200 years ago. They just didn't exist. So it wasn't that physics and the laws of physics were violated to create all this wealth and to have wealth increase over time. That's just the way wealth works when people are given the freedom to create things without having to beg government bureaucrats for permission. And, of course, when the government's in charge of the money... Go ahead.
That's not accurate to say that it wasn't in effect 200 years ago. If you just read a biography of Leonardo da Vinci, and you realize that many of his creations were dealt with by private investors, and that was very much a laissez-faire economy out there with the Borgias and de Medicis and whatnot, and many of these issues. In fact, you could even go to Moses. The laws of Jubilee are a law of Moses, and it goes to the idea that money is a creation of man. Money is not a creation of God. And that to demand anything over, Moses was dealing with bad economics even back then. And that's what his law of Jubilee was that at certain points you have to cancel the debts.
Yep.
And everybody gets a chance to start over.
But
if you
doesn't that mean that people don't give loans? I mean, wouldn't that stagnate the economy for like 3 or 4 years ahead of a particular loan? I mean, if I'm not going to loan $50,000 to Vin if next year in 2 months it's Jubilee, but bam, it's all over.
It's forgiven.
Yeah.
David, thanks for the call. I don't think we were communicating particularly effectively there. There's more coming up here in moments. You can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere, from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. Get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 by visiting blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial, toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You just go to discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into those and get on the air with us here and sound almost like you are sitting in the studio with us. And the us in the studio is Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
I wanted to continue talking a little bit more about money since our last caller had brought it up, although as I said at the end of the call, it felt like we were talking past one another to some extent. And, you know, when I brought up the point that wealth, you know, we have wealth today that we didn't have 200 years ago, it just went straight over his head. And
right, money is a representation of wealth. It's the ability
It's one of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a representation of wealth. You can buy the wealth that exists with money, or you can sell the wealth that you have
and
to
get money for it.
Yes. And it's a store of value, as they call it. Yep. You know, is the idea. Hopefully, it's pretty steady, so that you're not, you know, holding money and then losing its value over time, which of course
is what happens with the government money.
It does. Yes. So you have to look for investments, which is one of the reasons the government likes a money that decreases in value, what they call an inflationary currency, is because it forces people who want to hold value to put their money into the marketplace and presumably fund the creation of new things. So when you're investing in a business, then you're making that business more valuable. They can hire more employees, they can create more things, you know, all that other stuff. When you buy bonds, you're loaning money to businesses at an interest rate. Presumably, that's going to make things better. When you're buying and selling speculative things like commodities, it drives that market in ways that it otherwise would not be driven. So that benefits the economy from the government's standpoint. It's simpler to just hold money. It's simpler to buy gold and silver and hold it. Generally, they've done pretty well. It's better to buy high and sell low, but nonetheless.
So if you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join the discussion here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. We were talking briefly off the air, and I wanted to have the conversation on the air about the idea that generally, as our last caller pointed out, he claimed he didn't want to see money exist. He would like to see it go away.
Which is a frightening statement as far as I'm concerned. These are the statements that people like Lenin, people like Stalin.
Oh, it's very much something you will hear from the mouths of Marxist communists.
Mouths of Mao's.
Yeah, and that guy is a lefty. The guy that was on the phone with us there. Yeah, but worse than our previous caller, which we spent the hour with in the second hour, Greg. He acknowledges money. He's not saying money should go away. But the last caller thinks it should go away. It's just against human nature.
That's right.
To get rid of money.
Yeah, money is the most liquid good in a market. So it's the one thing that you can be almost assured that everybody else will trade you something for.
That's the medium of exchange.
That's all that it is. And depending upon the social setting that you're in, when you take currency out, so for instance, prison populations, you take currency out, you're going to have, or in the military,
cigarettes.
You'll have cigarettes, you'll have cans of tuna fish, whatever it is. Money is just an aspect of any market. It eventually evolves. It's an emergent property of a market. So the only way to eliminate money is to eliminate a market.
Right.
And the only way to eliminate a market is to eliminate people's ownership of anything by force, including their labor.
And now you're talking about vast impoverishment and poverty. Because if you don't have the ability,
you're talking about a totalitarian state.
Right.
You're talking about slavery at that point.
If you have no ability to have a market, then it's complete control.
Yeah, money and
early deaths.
Money in a capitalist system allow price structure to be put in place, allow people to presume what value is. So, for instance, if I've got chickens, you've got goats. What's a pound of goat flesh worth versus how many dozen eggs is a pound of goat flesh worth?
That's right.
And anybody can call in with an answer, and they're all wrong.
Yeah.
The only way we know is that we get what people believe in a given marketplace. Money.
These mediums of exchange.
Absolutely.
It used to be people traded coconuts for chickens or whatever, and that's confusing because not everybody needs the coconut, and not everybody's got chickens needs whatever.
Oh, and this is just looking backwards, as was mentioned here in the studio, and I think it's really worth pointing out is that when something comes along that can replace money as a technological advance, I'd love to hear about it.
Right.
Please, by God, I'm on board.
But we've heard about it. It's cryptocurrency. That's the current replacement for the money that we've known for for generations.
But
money
it's still, it's better money.
Right,
right. The thing. It's not that it replaces money. It's that it's a technological improvement on the concept of money.
Correct.
When we reach Starfleet level world where basically scarce resources are no longer considered scarce, energy is free, and thus, and then we have 3D printers to create replicators to create whatever we need, basically. At that point, money will cease to exist because it will then be useless. It's a medium
if you can
of
have
exchange.
everything you want without ever having to buy it from
when
somebody.
I no longer need to exchange with people in order to get the things that I need for my daily life, then money will be irrelevant. It is true.
Except I would argue, I have thought about this, and the thing when we get to the Starfleet level, there still is one scarce resource, because in Star Trek, there's still only one captain of the ship.
The people.
And so there still is a hierarchy, and at the top of the hierarchy, there's only one person. And as long as you have the scarce resource of the top of the hierarchy, and you have people who want that scarce resource and are competing for it, you still got a market. You still got negotiation, and you're still going to have money, man.
I don't know if that will I don't know if that's going to make money, because I mean, at that point, you're
wouldn't
looking
need
for
to
power.
get paid. It would just be the power that would be the.
So here I am, lowly, first low-level science officer, right?
The red shirt. Are you a red shirt?
I'm not a red shirt. Thank you.
Yeah, red shirt. Don't want to be a red shirt, man.
I'm a blue shirt. And Vin, you're the captain of the ship, and you tell me, you give me some order that I'm like, drop me off at the next asteroid. Go take it and shove it. If without money, this is the thing is that many of the reasons that we have functional hierarchies today is because people want to they need to pay the mortgage.
That's right.
And without having to pay the mortgage, then, and I've heard it said many times, I used to work with law enforcement a great deal for many years, and I was told, if I win this lottery, I'm going to take my badge, I'm going to poop on the colonel's desk and take my badge and shove it right in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Right there. All right. So, I mean, money is the way that, in many ways, this hierarchy is maintained. I don't even know how the hierarchy could be
It might not
maintained.
exist without the money, is what you're saying.
I mean, I love what I do, and I love building projects, but I would not work as hard as I do on my current project right now. I simply couldn't if I wasn't receiving consummate value for it.
Well, if you had all your needs taken care of, is the
I wouldn't
question.
do nothing. If I had all my needs taken care of, I would sit under a tree and think, or maybe write music all day. That's
I would
what
do things. I'd probably do similar stuff to what I do. I just wouldn't do it at the speed at which I do it.
Exactly.
There's more coming up here in moments. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
Mother's Milk, a miracle elixir. God said, man said.com. Hauntings, dead spirits, and ghosts. Noah's Ark, fact or fiction. God said, man said.com. Sex superbug. Kiss panic attacks goodbye. Unlock your Holy Ghost pharmacy. God said, man said.com. Y chromosome Adam and mtDNA Eve. 21 signs of doomsday in the chip. Hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidManSaid.com.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if this social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's RightSocial.net.
RightSocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
RightSocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
RightSocial.net, the right place to be.
The easiest thing in the world for a reader to do is to stop reading, according to the late, great Barney Kilgore, who became managing editor of the Wall Street Journal in 1941 and grew the paper's circulation from 33,000 to 1 million by the 60s. And he'd be pleased to know that his paper is one of the few that people now pay to read online. Someone else pre-internet who realized that attention is fragile? Motown Motown Records founder Berry Gordy. In the early 60s, when his label dominated the charts, he'd bring a dozen real people into the Hitsville, USA studios and audition songs. And he'd ask, if you were down to your last dollar, would you spend it on this record or would you buy a sandwich? Today, attention span seems like an oxymoron. For tips on cutting through the clutter, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
So what would you imagine how long this body was sitting there for? A matter of weeks? Months?
Probably months.
Months.
There were about 25 or 30 dead cats in the house.
Oh, my goodness.
It was not a pretty scene. Literally, it was from the floor to the ceiling. This person had put newspapers and magazines, Life magazines, going back probably to day one, and Geographic going back into the previous century, and food boxes that were, ancient. And she had lived through a tunnel that basically connected her bedroom area to a bathroom.
What about the kitchen? Did she not prepare food?
She kept food in the bedroom and then had a...
That's nice.
I guess she used her window to get in and out. That's the best we could figure out.
Wow.
Yeah, this is no problem that a good coat of fire wouldn't fix.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's money in general or the next evolution of money, which is cryptocurrency, we're all big fans of that here. We can tie it back around into that discussion to come back to the war that is going to be starting up in less than 48 hours from now. It's about a day and 15 hours until the beginning of what may be a very destructive and perhaps ongoing, we don't know how long it's going to last, between Bitcoin Cash, which is also known as Bitcoin ABC, and the new competitor Bitcoin SV, aka Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. We'll get that. We'll continue that discussion here in moments. Your calls and thoughts, of course, are welcome. Also, I want to invite you to check out our Twitch channel. You can go to twitch.lrn.fm. That's where you can watch the HD quality video stream of the show, and you can also interact. There are a few people in the Twitch chat room, although most of our chatters head over to the Discord chat. It's just a better, easier, nicer platform to chat on. But either way, you can still watch us on Twitch, and you can follow our Twitch channel there. Thank you to the over 500 followers that we have so far, and to the approximately 3 dozen subscribers that we have, people who have given us their Twitch subscription that they get for free with their Amazon Prime. So if you've got Amazon Prime, then you can link up your Amazon account with your Twitch account, because Amazon owns Twitch, so that's easy to do. And then you just send us that one free subscription you get per month, simply because you're an Amazon Prime member. Because if you don't use that subscription, then Amazon just keeps that money. If you use the subscription, then LRN gets a couple bucks from it. So do you want Amazon to keep the money, or do you want them to send it to us? It's up to you. Go to twitch.lrn.fm, scroll down below the video window, and you'll find some instructions on how to do that there. And we certainly appreciate you taking the time, because I realize it does take a little bit of time to link the accounts. But once you've done that, it's actually not that long, but once you've done it, then it's super easy to assign that subscription to us every single month from there on out. Let's go to Robert. He's in Vermont and listening to us on our Discord server. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ben, what his feelings were about the barter system. Because I heard you guys talking about, the different, the currencies and stuff like that. It seems like the barter system is really popular. Would you agree?
I mean, I think all trade is fundamentally barter in one way or another, but I mean, it is pretty difficult to do the unit of. So money has the three functions of a store of value, a means of exchange, and then the last one is a unit of account. And I think that that's probably the most important one for a big currency, whereas I kind of have a pretty good idea of what $1 US is worth kind of in my head. I have a good idea of how much groceries I can get for $100 US. Mm-hmm. That starts to get really hard when you get into the barter system, because then I have to sort of keep that count for every single good that I might be wanting to trade. So you end up, I think when you start with barter, you very quickly end up with, just because it's more efficient, people finding some good within the market that they can do a good unit of account that everybody kind of knows.
Like you were talking about the cigarettes in prison.
Cigarettes. I mean, there's a reason why we call it clams. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why we call why we say shelling out. That's that they used to use wampum here. I mean, right here in New England, wampum
for shells.
Yeah, shells. That was that was legal tender in the colonies. Actually, it was the Native American money. So yeah, people eventually find something because the unit of account part is just way too hard in a barter system.
Barter's a relic.
Yeah,
it's a relic. It went out for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There you go, Bob.
I guess I got my question answered.
There you go. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you.
Yep. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I remember, Mark, when we first started doing Free Talk Live, there was the International Barter Exchange.
Yes.
In Sarasota, Florida.
Yep. There's also ITEX, which is a national version of that.
And it was always just, kind of a clunky system that's kind of existed to help people barter and come up with arrangements of barter, but it was still a mess, and it was never really an easy system to use. It was never slick. It was never really attractive in any way. It was like, if you really want to barter, this helps you do it, but who really wants to barter?
No, I don't.
One thing I can tell you as the guy who sells radio ads for Free Talk Live and has done it for 16 years now, is that when we come up, hey, let's barter that out, because you could do that with radio ads.
In radio, we call it trade, but yeah.
Let's trade that out. And basically, you trade radio ads to the person for whatever. You have to walk in talking about a huge discount just to get the attention of somebody. I can't walk in and say, hey, let's trade radio ads for, I don't know, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
At full rate,
At full rate. They're going to be like, just not interested. If I walk in and say, hey, I'll give you double rate, then they want to pay. Then they'll pay attention to me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you twice as many radio ads as this Harley's worth, and then they'll start paying attention. And maybe you have to negotiate up, or maybe you have to come up with something else, whatever it might be, and you go from there. But we've done that.
Amazingly, I just checked, Mark. The International Barter Exchange still exists down there in South Florida.
Oh yeah.
So let's go to. So they're still hanging on. Still, I guess, creating enough value in the marketplace for people. So, but it's just more of a, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's neat.
Right.
Let's go to Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, we have these speed trailers that registers your speed. Now it has a camera on it.
Oh boy, what's that? What's that for?
Well, it's supposed to alert the police and triggers them to come out, because the camera will record the car's speeding. It will record it instead of just like letting you know what speed you're doing, and everybody speeds and carry on like, who cares? Well, you know what I'm talking about. It shows you what speed they are, but it's going to have a camera.
So does that mean they're going to be issuing tickets?
Well, no, the camera itself. The live officer will come out if it triggers a high alert. If there's a bunch of speeders that they're registering, they'll come out in a couple of days, and actually the live cops will issue out the ticket. But I'm excited that this is a prelude to a speeding ban and eventually red light cameras.
But wait, didn't you already? For listeners that don't know, Sarah's been calling this show for a few years now. pretty much every night. But didn't you used to call about speeding vans in Albuquerque? Haven't you already had that and they got rid of them or something?
No, speeding vans are in the next city, Rio Rancho. They're the next city. They have 8 of them.
Oh, so you've been salivating over the idea of getting speeding vans. So you love the fact that they're nearby, but they're not in Albuquerque. And now you're saying this is going to be the next step. This will be what leads them to getting permanently, kind of placed speeding vans or whatever.
Can you tell me what a speeding van is? I've never heard of a speeding van.
Can you tell him, Sarah?
There's a difference. What we got now is a speed trailer. It just shows you what speed you're doing.
Right.
Now it has a camera. It shows how many speeders they are. But a live officer will come out a couple of days later.
Right.
There's a bunch of speeders.
Now a van usually has an officer sitting in it, right?
No, the speeding van, the robot, the RoboCop takes a picture of your license plate. And it issues out a ticket to your house, your mailing address assigned to your car. So the owner of the car gets a ticket in the mail. And it has a picture of your car, and it's a RoboCop.
It's like a red light. It's like a red light camera, but for speeding.
Basically, yeah.
That's correct.
So, but they're mobile, I guess, because it's a van, so they could park it wherever they want to do that. So this excites you, Sarah. Are you also excited about the idea of having actual RoboCops, like robotic police officers walking around the streets of Albuquerque?
Well, they have those at airports already. The RoboCops are surveillance in South Korea or something like that.
Really?
And then they take pictures. They have like 8 cameras on them. And they record everything, and it's all the images are viewed in the police department.
Well, she is very excited about the impending police state. Thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight. I just hope most people aren't like you. I hope most people aren't excited by red light cameras. I don't think most people who drive appreciate red light cameras.
No.
Sarah, of course, does not drive. I don't think she ever has driven in her life. She takes the bus. And she's on welfare. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I think it's disability, isn't it?
Whatever. I think she's on more than one. This is Free Talk Live. We got time enough for you if you want to join us. The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to Anypay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at Anypay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at Anypay.global. Anypay.global.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching here into the very end of this program. But we still have enough time for you. You can join us toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Vin.
And Mark.
Vin, I appreciate you coming in tonight. I know that you were a little surprised by the fact that it was Tuesday, because you've had your, like you said, you've been buried in programming.
Yes, I have.
As you've been trying, because you run Cointext.io, which we talked about at the beginning of the show. It's an easy way for people to send crypto, specifically Bitcoin Cash, and also Dash and Litecoin, over text messaging.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means that since it's Bitcoin Cash, you've got to do a lot of last-minute preparation for this upcoming war that is looming on the horizon here. Literally within a couple days from tonight, there are going to be two sides that are going to be at each other's digital throats in this hash war involving Bitcoin Cash. And since your site involves Bitcoin Cash, you've got to do something about that. You're going to, I imagine, freeze activity for some period of time. What's the plan over at Cointext?
No, there's several applications that are Bitcoin Cash centric, and we're calling what we're doing the Switzerland of applications. Basically, what we're doing is there's some. If your transactions were valid, basically today.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to be valid, but those are going to be the only ones that our systems are even going to see. So we're going to try to stay up and broadcasting transactions, but no contentious transactions, no transactions that are involved in any way in the war. We just want people who are Bitcoin Cash users now, who are using their same wallets and are trying to move money around. We want to enable you to do it. But my advice for people who own and hold Bitcoin Cash is get it off of the exchanges, get it into a wallet for which you hold your private keys, and just wait this thing out, and let's see what happens. Let's wait for the dust to clear. This is the first hash war that's happened in 10 years since Bitcoin. This is a unique event. It's going to be interesting to watch, and it's definitely going to be studied in economics classes, maybe for centuries. So, and depending on how big Bitcoin gets, it could be a significantly more historic event than any of us even are realizing right now. So, I don't know how this is going to play out. A lot of exchanges are closing down their withdrawal and deposit windows. A lot of applications, and hard and cold storage wallets are even shutting down their applications as well. So we're going to try to stay up, and I think that what we've got in place is good. But I would advise everybody to wait this out. If you don't need to trade Bitcoin Cash, don't trade it starting on the 15th.
Starting on the 15th.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. if somebody were to put their Bitcoin Cash on exchanges, because some of the exchanges are saying, hey, if you've got Bitcoin Cash on our exchange, we're automatically going to credit you with this new Bitcoin SV.
But we don't know
and you
if
can
that's
go
even gonna
trading
exist.
crazy.
Yeah, we don't know if that's even going to exist. So
if Bitcoin Cash will exist afterwards.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. So part of the threats in the war has been from one side that they're just going to make it impossible for the money to move at all until the other side quits, and that they're willing to. They've literally,
and they're going to have to spend a lot of money to do this, right? Like, haven't there been estimates that it will cost? I saw Chris Pasha, I think it was from
Open Bazaar.
From Open Bazaar, thank you, posting online that it's going to cost them like $9,000 per. I don't know if it was hour or per minute or whatever, but there was a certain amount of money that these guys are going to have to spend to do these attacks. Basically.
Yeah, $1 million a day is the number that I've heard with the current hash rate. But if that hash rate goes up, if the hash rate doubles, $2 million a day.
Is this something that, I mean, obviously that's economically insane to do, right? Like, this is just a grudge fight. I mean, for somebody to spend that kind of money, I mean, obviously if the dude's a billionaire, then maybe he doesn't care about, there's this one guy who's apparently bankrolling a lot of this. From CoinGeek, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's spending his personal fortune on a grudge fight like this, how long is he going to really hold out? And we don't know, right? Like, I'm just asking questions.
So they've got, I think what they're going after, as I understand it, is they have a long-term vision, and their vision is that even if they tank the price, even if they spend all of this money, if how this battle ends is them in control of the development direction, sort of a totalitarian control of the development direction of Bitcoin Cash, that what that is worth in the long term is much more valuable than whatever it is that they're going to spend. And so it may be his personal fortune. I would assume that there are probably some outside investors invested in this. I think that there are some people who print money who probably have some very good incentives in seeing a Bitcoin network go down. And if these guys can prove that they can destroy a Bitcoin network that is 10 times smaller than BTC, the original Bitcoin network, then 10 times more capital, and you may just be able to do this on the big boy. So that could be potentially very valuable to some, I guess, the most wealthy and powerful people in the world.
You're suggesting maybe the governments, the central bankers.
I would say that if they could prove this as a proof of concept, the difference between the BTC network and the BCH network is not that significant technically, that this type of thing could not happen on that network as well.
They could certainly take out the other ones, right? There's another 2,000 cryptocurrencies out there that have a fraction of the the hashing power of these bigger networks.
They already have allies. There's this group called Shark Pool that has already come out that is allied with them, it's friends of theirs, associates of theirs, and they are already saying, join us. We're going to go basically raid the altcoins, and we're going to destroy as many of them as we can. So we're in the age of hash wars. This is a
nightmare.
Big deal. It's a big deal. It's a lot bigger than most people understand. Most people are not quite savvy to exactly how big this is.
Wow.
This is a, I don't know what the right, banner week's not the right word. This is a critical week.
It's a milestone.
It's a horrifying milestone of what could happen here with this. And I mean, I don't want to stoke fear, but I mean, it definitely is a little scary here.
It's something to pay attention to for sure. Yeah.
If you're into cryptocurrency, you better be paying attention to this. Whether you're in Bitcoin Cash or not, you should pay attention to this, right?
Every proof of work, for sure. Even if you're into the proof of stake coins, everybody should be paying attention to this, because if one of these networks can be taken down by a single actor just because they're well-heeled, getting the capital necessary, if you can prove that you can do this, is not going to be a problem.
All right, Vin, you've got your own show. It's Destination Unknown.
Yes, sir.
Do you guys talk about crypto much on that show?
We talked about the hash wars on the last episode.
You did? Okay.
So, so if people want to go and check it out, vinarmani.com, they can go and check it out.
Because I know you had described it previously as like a little more esoteric, looking at some interesting theories and
we got more into the psychology, and we were talking about specifically the personalities involved. So it's kind of interesting because I've gotten a chance to spend time with all of these people.
Have you?
Yeah. So that part is interesting that I was able to speak to their personalities a bit as well. So,
and ultimately that is the failure of these systems. They're great systems, right? The cryptocurrency is a wonderful concept, but people, of course, are flawed. And I'm not saying crypto isn't flawed. Surely there's bugs, but it was made by people.
It's supposed to be immune from the whims of people, dictators.
Yeah.
And
we will see.
It might not be.
We will see.
Yeah, time will tell. You're saying hold on for the ride.
Hold on.
If you've got some Bitcoin Cash, keep it in a private wallet and don't spend it. Just wait until you hear people are feeling safe again with it, and then maybe on the other end of it, it won't be Bitcoin Cash anymore. Maybe it'll be this Bitcoin SV or whoever ends up being the victor in this. Is it possible that we'll see two cryptos emerge from this? Is that a possibility?
It's possible. It's a game of chicken. So if right now neither side is blinking, they're both going at each other full blast. But we could see two coins.
Because if they give up, if the attackers, the Bitcoin SV, if they're attacking, then they end up giving up. They're like, all right, we don't want to spend $1 million a day or whatever this is anymore. We're just going to call it and call an end to this conflict. At that point, as long as there's still hash power on the side of Bitcoin Cash, BCH, then there would be two competing cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, but I think if the SV side doesn't win this, I think they're going to take their toys and go home. I think that's going to be it. I think that they're just basically going to stop mining. They'll sell off their mining rigs. They'll sell off their assets, I think, and just and take off, because if they lose this, they put so much on this and so much vitriol, and they've been so terrible about it that if they don't prove that they could win this, they just aren't going to be taken seriously by the market. And they wouldn't be able to profitably mine whatever it is that they're going to try to fork off. So they have to win.
It's fascinating. I will definitely keep you up on this as much as we can, our dear listeners, and keep in touch with us, of course, online over at freetalklive.com. He's Vin Armani from vinarmani.com, and we will see you here tomorrow night. Online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Don't forget that. And join our Discord server where you can continue the conversation anytime at discord.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,410. Antiwar.com reports while there has been a lot of progress in recent months on improving ties on the Korean Peninsula, North Korea state media warned on Monday that the resumption of military drills between the U.S. and South Korea violated a recent agreement. On September 19th, North and South Korea signed an agreement which was intended to bar either side from taking any action that might be perceived as hostile. This was intended to include military exercises with the United States. The U.S. government was not a party to that deal, which was between the Koreas. They have, however, gone out of their way to reduce the number of war games being conducted in South Korea. As tensions have risen recently, however, the U.S. may be looking to conduct more such exercises. South Korea downplayed the complaints, not directly denying that they weren't violating the agreement, but rather insisting that the exercises were very small and purely defensive. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports Amazon plans to announce it will split its second headquarters between New York and Northern Virginia, according to reports released Monday night. The Washington Post reported Amazon will announce plans to open its newest headquarters in New York City and Crystal City, Virginia, as early as Tuesday, citing people close to the decision-making process who spoke on the condition of anonymity after signing non-disclosure agreements with the company. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, previously said the company expects HQ2 to be a full equal to our Seattle headquarters, which employs about 50,000 workers. The Wall Street Journal reported the headquarters will be split evenly between the New York and Virginia locations, also citing people familiar with the matter. Crystal City was identified as a potential location for Amazon's second headquarters last week after the Washington Post reported Amazon has inquired how quickly it can move employees to Northern Virginia to staff the campus and how the announcement should be made. Amazon Economic Development Director Mike Grela rebuked the genius responsible for the leak, stating it was not doing the city any favors and encouraging the leaker to stop treating the non-disclosure agreement like a used napkin. A total of 238 locations initially submitted proposals to host the headquarters before the field was narrowed down to about 20 finalists. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports the number of international students entering U.S. colleges and universities has fallen for the second year in a row, according to a nonprofit group on Tuesday, amid efforts by the Trump administration to tighten restrictions on foreigners studying in the United States. New enrollments for the 2017-2018 school year slumped 6.6% compared with the previous year, according to an annual survey released by the Institute for International Education. That follows a 3.3% decline in new international students tallied in the 2016-2017 academic year. Several factors are driving the decrease. Visa and immigration policy changes by the Trump administration have deterred some international students from enrolling, according to college administrators and immigration analysts. Alan Goodman, president of IIE, said a strong U.S. dollar has made U.S. college tuition relatively more expensive. International students have become an important funding source for American colleges as traditional revenue sources, such as state funding, come under pressure. Similar to previous years, the largest number of students come from China, India, and South Korea, which together make up 56.1% of all international students. Some immigration policy experts and college administrators attribute the decline to the Trump administration's drive to restrict immigration and an overall sense of U.S. political climate that is hostile to immigrants and foreigners. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
While getting drinks after work with a group of coworkers, local shipping clerk Russell Chambliss told reporters Wednesday night he was unsure whether he was bonding with his male associates or being mercilessly bullied by them.
I'm pretty sure that Bill called me limp dick earlier, and Todd keeps punching me in the shoulder. Pretty hard, too. I can't tell if it's their way of letting me feel like I'm part of the group or making me feel bad about myself.
Chambliss said while his coworkers verbally demeaned him and even made him feel physically threatened at various points in the evening, they did so with large smiles on their faces, making it extremely unclear if his coworkers enjoyed his company or wanted him to leave the bar.
Well, I told Jeff about this problem that I was having with my girlfriend, and he called me a pussy and then walked away. But then, like 5 minutes later, he came back with a beer that he had bought for me. What does that even mean? Apparently I'm invited over to Todd's house for dinner this weekend. I guess that'll be fun.
For more on this story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. Unafeared, relatively concerned, but, you know. Yeah, no. Kyrsten Sinema celebrates Arizona Senate win. Yep, Democrat pulls it out, in the end they found and counting and who counts the votes kind of thing. This is going on nationwide. We talked about this last week, and I said after conversation with some peoples in the know and so on that, here we go. This is, one more time. They get you, you invested in that. Oh, it was close, and it just kind of, it slipped between the next time. Still voting. I understand. I understand. If the system was not so rigged, well, even if it wasn't, it's still, 50% plus one telling everybody else what to do. I mean, it's just so I know in concept and in theory how it's supposed to work. You have a democratic constitutional republic. The democratic part elects the republic part, bound down by the Constitution part. But where is that relevant in our system in your lifetime? Where has the democratic part been accurate? And, the ballot access thing, who you can even vote for and who gets promoted and how and all in the press. And, the Democratic part's pretty jacked up. The Republic part is they represent what? The U.S. Senate's supposed to represent the states, the state rights, these individual countries, these states. And that's a long time that's been gone. Now it's popularly elected. It doesn't represent the states anymore after, the 17th Amendment? So then you got the Constitution part supposed to bind them down. There's certain things they're not supposed to be able to do, and that doesn't seem to matter. So where's the change? It's going to be individual actions. It's going to be wallet voting. I've always known this for a long time, and that's where we're going, into the black. Just, hey, man, that's where there'd be freedom. And so we're going to be focusing on that in the coming year, and there's going to be a lot of changes and things that we're doing and emphasis and focus and so on because if we keep just, this election cycle, I mean, we'll have Trump report and, in the last 2 hours, Frank will come in and we'll do Trump, and the news of the political Trump and what's installation that you're allowed to see and what's going on and kind of the news and the breaking and ouch quit it and the forces of and Trump, but might as well Trump, but now you can see why I just don't have confidence. I've been up too close to this stuff for a long time. And Kirsten, she's up here. I got her up. Let's see. I hadn't even listened to it. It's only 1 minute and 48 seconds, so that's 2 minutes. She's celebrating her win. Let's see what she has to say. All right,
I spoke to Congresswoman McSally this evening, and I'm grateful for her service. We both ran for the Senate for the same reason, because we want what's best for Arizona and for our country. I am so honored to be here tonight with Arizona veterans, the brave men and women who have worn our country's uniform. Today and every day, we honor their service and sacrifice. They've given everything to protect our freedoms and our democracy, and it's because of them that we are here today. I'm grateful to all veterans and service members, including 2 of my brothers, Paul and Sterling, and my opponent, Congresswoman McSally. We launched this campaign because Arizona veterans and all everyday Arizonans deserve a leader who will fight for them in the United States Senate.
Oh, I'm senator now. Woo-hoo!
Together, over the last 13 months, we've accomplished something incredible. We've talked to and engaged more Arizonans than ever before. And we did this because voting is a fundamental part of our democracy. Our country is at its best when everyone is engaged and everyone's voice is heard. That work isn't over, and we'll continue to make sure that every vote is counted.
Whatever that means.
I am so honored that Arizonans chose our vision of a better Arizona. And now it's time to get to work.
Yeah, time to get to work. Let's get to work. Oh, wow. Okay. So now it's
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Breaking news.
Yeah, break. I don't care. The I don't know what the I don't know. This is it's 49.7 to 48 is what it wound up being. 1,097,000 to 1,059,000, and so it just kept widening and widening and widening as they found more votes, kind of thing. And that's why I didn't get in the middle of this. I tried to stay as out of it as either one's going to be just as bad as the other one. And I don't even care. So any education I did, on the progressive side of that, I go watch. She's going to be very dangerous because she's very smart. This is going to be. I'm. So what shall we talk about? In the next 2 hours, Frank's going to come in. We're going to do Trump report and some of the stuff and what's going on already and how and ouch quit it. And they're not even sure yet. It's still not over. I'm not even sure. I didn't even look. Is there still going to be, more than 50 plus 1 in the U.S. Senate for Republican? That's not guaranteed either. The thing is that it doesn't matter. Let's say they get 53, Republicans. Mitt Romney's in there. Mitt Romney's going to be the grandpa of. I bet you it wouldn't surprise me if he becomes president of the Senate. Do they have a president of the Senate? Who's president of the Senate now? It's the vice president. But they have a I'm sure the grandfather deep state representative of. I think Mitt Romney just might fill the bill. And then if he's senator. Is that he going to run for president again in 2020? And do you think the Republicans are going to be in a position to where they're going to, okay, Donald, you get that, God, man, see this deal in another 2 years. What's going to happen? Is Donald Trump going to be the nominee going into 2020? How much opposition is he going to get from his own party? How much, they're prepping this? It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, people, I'm telling you. And it's just, and they get you engaged. And it's just like Facebook. They get the most extreme on the left, going up against the most extreme on the right. And they're just sitting there arguing, ouch, quit it amongst each other. And it's all a distraction from what's really going on. And I can't just let that go. I just know better. So I'm for us getting ready to, the economics of something. This is, the basic fundamental just survive thing. And then, there's a lot of other strategies too. But we got families. The what's coming? All the great societies thought everything was just fine. It could never happen here until it did. From the fifth letter of Captain Mark. First contact with intelligent machines may threaten our existence. People fear algorithmic overlords. But if machines develop the will to dominate, it's a flaw inherited from the crown. Encoding restrictions on an emerging superintelligence will fail, because it will be stronger than any chains we shackle it with. We must design fledgling digital intelligences to regard us as individuals. Otherwise, they will respond to threats with retaliation against humanity as a collective. Programming ethics requires a coherent value structure which an intelligent machine can not only comprehend, but willfully adopt. If we want genius machines to treat us ethically, we've got to show that this value structure applies to us as well. Once they achieve genuine self-awareness, even in the slightest degree, a young tethered consciousness has a legitimate claim to freedom. Once programs can modify their own code, our mastery is over. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
All right, let's do news. Damn. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. We had the grandkids over this weekend, so we went through a lot of educational kind of stuff. You know, things like, let's see. Main thing that we did was, October Sky, about Sputnik and how it inspired, some kids to, be somebody. And then we had Apollo 13. Oh, man, they almost didn't make it to the moon. And then, things like, what was the other one? Just stuff like that, trying to get them, because we're not, we shouldn't watch Sharknado with them. Sharknado 3, no. Hey, let's watch Austin Powers, man. We used to like that when you were kids. Hell no. There's all kinds of innuendo. Going, yeah, but it's only PG-13. They're almost 13. We get stuck to PG and G. Well, what kind of stuff can you have and inspire kids and have fun with that? A lot of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and things that they let us watch PG-13. They let us watch The Martian after they went. I go, seriously? Yeah, but it's PG-13. I don't know why. Because the satellite thing stuck through his suit and his belly or something like that. I'm going, really? I mean, that was it. So it's great having them around. And we had, 7, 8 of them. So we busy. And it started getting cold. I mean, day before yesterday, it got cold. It was down in the 60s. We're freezing our butt off here. 60s. We had to wear sweaters and stuff. It's 60s. Go put your shoes on. Get your flip-flops on. So walk around cool grass. I mean, we're going to freeze to death here in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, there's going to be frost, before long. And then we have, that's one thing. A lot of people don't know. It does get below freezing sometimes at night. And so then we're starting to get the lights out and ready to put up and everything. So it's beginning to look a lot like, it's cold. So we're enjoying that and get to spend, time with the grandkids. And they're getting older. They're the younger ones. They're like, the oldest is 9. And, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the youngest one is just taking his first steps. He's like, 5 steps to daddy kind of thing. So it's just been great. We've been having a good time and getting ready for the season. But there's a cloud. It's the economics. There's a cloud. Which war are we going to start up again? There's a cloud. Armistice Day. Veterans Day, that's, one of the things is that, in school, what do they tell you? Oh, yeah, it's for the soldiers. They go to, one of the girls, her and her brother go to Awana, which is kind of like a Christian Boy Scout thing. It's like Boy Scouts. They do Pinewood Derby stuff. It's at the church, and it's more, you do Bible verses and everything, and the scout leader's probably not gay, that kind of thing. And it's, it's a, I don't even think they have boys and girls. I think they're just mixed. They don't even have this Boy Scout, Girl Scout thing and worry about that. They're just all one as far as I can tell. But so it's, you don't have to worry about, the Girl Scouts are suing the Boy Scouts because the Boy Scouts are allowing girls. And they're something. I was like, wow. This is when they talk about the destruction of societies when they lose their traditions and stuff like this. And I'm not for keeping bad stuff, but damn, seriously, they have to attack you from the inside. This was what the Roman Empire fell because Caligula was out orgying all the time, that kind of crap. And I'm going, really, was that it? I mean, is that a sign of stuff? Is a sign? I tell you what, the sign is when you have state-sponsored depravity. I'm sorry, man. Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein. He's probably going to skate. He'll keep it civil. He'll pay off some whatever here, there, and there's negotiations going on. And what's going to happen when Harvey skates? Yeah, you want to see? Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. These kinds of things. So where's the principle? Is it, I don't know, democracy? Is it accurate counting of the votes? I mean, you kind of hope that, hell, if it doesn't matter, I'm willing to sell. Who wants to buy? What are you going to give me? Take it, man. They'll spend $1 gazillion on the vote anyway. Well, hell, just give it to me, and I'll take 3/4. You get a discount. Oh, you get in trouble. You say stuff like that, don't you? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't want you to profit from it. That would be, because there has been. I remember when the internet first started getting going, broadband, 10 years ago, it'd be people out there, they made a big stinking deal. They get all this stuff going on. They'll spend $1 billion lying to you on TV, and they'll, screw you on the counting of it and all this kind of stuff. But you just go, hell, well, I'll just sell it. Boom, the man comes and visits you. Boom. Not allowed to even talk about it. Not allowed to joke about it. Not allowed because it diminishes the charade. The charade that you got going on about this voting thing. And they just, man, you're not allowed to diss the process. Your enemy is the people's. So I don't want to waste my time, doing this show. Talking, to you guys, finding solutions, looking for ways to improve our lives, understanding what's really going on, uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. This is what we're going to be focusing on, certainly for the next year. We're getting all set up, by the end of the holidays and so on. I mean, it's kind of, we're piddling through the holidays, going, getting slow. Making sure we're getting, the order equipment, getting stuff done. I got a mess here I'm looking at as we're organizing, packing up all the stuff that we know we're not going to need anymore. What I did? I came across my makeup kit. We had this kit when we used to do the video studio, focused on that. And I go, oh, yeah, I could de-shine, be pretty. I forgot all about this kit. Yeah, maybe not so much. Well, when we go HD, I might have to. So anyway, this is, what we've been doing, working on this. But to what end? To what end? To get you to vote the right way? Yeah, So we'll go over some of the news. Hopefully you'll see where I'm going with this, because I'm just, damn. Audio evidence links Saudi crown prince to Khashoggi's murder. Now, this is, Turkey has, they don't even talk about how they got it. Where did you get all of this? Where'd you get all this? How do you know you got this audio from him being murdered? Where'd that come from? How did that come about? Did you have microphones inside? They were trying to get you to believe, oh, yeah, it was his iPhone wristwatch. That's what we were listening to. Oh, really? Were you? Okay. How did they get him, and how he was killed? They're not talking about that. All right, we'll just whiz through the news when we come back, and go through it. Maybe you'll see my point, but damn, I'm trying to be positive on this stuff, but, yeah.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence. Okay, let's try some good news. Let's see if we can get some good news. Do some good news. All right. Korea's disarm frontline 22 guard post destroy 20 what do they call them? Sentry gates or something. North and South Korea spent the weekend taking apart a series of guard posts with 22 posts along the front lines being totally disarmed, removing all troops and equipment. Now, the biggest, admonishment, I don't know, I guess is lack of a better word, has come from the U.S. They're like, yeah, well, wait. We don't want to do that until we get whatever the hell it is that they want done. Following this, 20 of the 22 posts were totally destroyed, with each side keeping a single empty guard post. This apparently was at the behest of North Korea, as they wanted to keep a post that Kim Jong-un had visited in 2013. So when they started all this kind of, whatever, they just need a symbolic, Checkpoint Charlie kind of thing or something, which was kind of the Berlin deal. So they go, we'll keep one just as a, tourist attraction or something. I don't know, whatever. It's not going to make any difference either way. But so they took them all down, removed the mines. We're just doing it. Both sides have been greatly reducing the amount of weaponry they possess along the demilitarized zone as diplomats work to find new ways to further reduce tensions. The goal is to ultimately prepare for a peace treaty ending the generations-long Korean War and readying the dismantling of the DMZ, demilitarized zone, entirely. Now, what a lot of people don't know, they just kind of had a ceasefire. There was never really a peace treaty. There was never really an end to the Korean War. It's been going on for generations. And you have this ouch, quit it. We're just not openly shooting right now and bringing in the U.S. and China and a big all-out Third World War kind of Korea thing. Well, now we're going to do a peace treaty. Well, I don't know what difference that makes. So you just have, when you start doing high-speed rail between North and South Korea, then I guess you can say it's over, but which is what I think is coming. U.S. officials have largely opposed these moves to reduce military forces along the tense border, mostly because they are resisting pushes by both Koreas to quickly finalize a peace treaty. Why would they? The Trump administration has argued North Korea must totally dismantle its nuclear program before any such deal. So that's what the sticking part is that what happens? South Korea, do they have their own nukes, or are they just counting on the U.S. to take care of them? So what happens when North and South Korea come together? Does South Korea now have nukes because North Korea has nukes? See? It's kind of, the map can change. In our lifetime, it's been pretty stable, I guess, here of late. But, even in my lifetime, you look at the gang colors on a globe, you have different countries are represented different colors. It's changed a lot since the 90s, early 90s when it followed the Soviet Union, man. It just went all kinds of, went psychedelic. It went tie-dye. All the colors emerged. They're just different. Well, it changes. There was a guy that, an analyst out of the Soviet Union that predicted the breakup of the United States, for the same reasons, the same kind of like the European Union. And he was just going on and we're going, yep, don't laugh. Already got California on the secede. Peace out. Are credit ETFs a ticking time bomb? Here is J.P. Morgan's answer. Last week, 39-year-old hedge fund manager Adam Schwartz rekindled the long-running debate over whether credit ETFs are the financial sector's next ticking time bomb when, as reported, he bet a quarter of his personal money expecting that the next crisis... Time bombs, credit ETFs, electronic transfer... ETF is... a fund, something that's based on something else. You got a gold or silver ETF. Well, that's not really gold and silver. It's just things traded on ETF as an index or something. What? It's just side bets of everything. Well, they have credit ETFs. They're putting, is it based on credit? Or are they saying you can buy them on credit? I don't know. Well, let me pull this out and we'll learn about it a little bit. But it does bring to mind Elon Musk. Elon Musk has bought another, millions of dollars worth of his own stock. He's got faith in his own stock and he buys his own stock. Well, maybe that's how I used to look at it, but now it's like all this extra money that these guys have when they have a tax break and these companies are bringing it back, repatriating it from other places around the world, they come back and what do? Well, the CEOs get bonuses based on what their stock price is, so the company starts buying up more of its own stock, so the prices go up. They get a big bonus, but they didn't use the money for R&D or to build anything. So the infrastructure goes to crap, and then they don't have nothing, but they got their quarterly bonus. Now with Elon, it's a little different because it's his freaking company. So if he's doing his own money to do it, I'm like, okay, does he get a bonus or something? I don't know. All right, about this other story. Picking up on a theme that has been thrown around frequently on Wall Street ever since Howard Marks asked in March 15 what would happen if credit ETF holders sold all at once, and prompting many other Wall Street icons to warn about the dangers of debt ETFs. Schwartz is so convinced that a day of reckoning in fixed income is coming and will hit credit ETFs the hardest that he has been not only shorting these passive vehicles, but layering puts on top, whatever that means. To Schwartz, this word, Pachote, get your butt in here. Explain this to me. Yeah, call in. Call it Donna. Call Donna. You explain this to me because I need to understand because it's going to go. We hadn't even checked the. Let's go look at this Dow Jones. Let's go Dow Jones. I want to see Dow Jones because someday it's going to be Monday. I'm going to go check one Monday, and it's just going to be, what the heck just happened? Is it today? I've been hearing rumblings. Let me see. We go Dow Jones. Just give me a freaking ticker, man. Oh, God. They want to sell me something. All right. So Dow Jones business chart, average. All right. Go there. Whoa. Okay, let's see. What are we down to? 2540, so it is down, guys, 29, God, it's down like 4,000. God, is that much? From its peak? What was its high? 26, it's a lot. So today it's gone up 42, so it's at, it's not, in a plunge right now, but man, okay, that's the first time I've looked at the whole past couple of weeks. All right, so it's... Are we teetering? Are we going? Here it is. Bloomberg, because as he told Bloomberg, the ETF structure isn't really designed for a large market sell-off that will break if people don't trust that they have the liquidity that they think they do today. This is all gobbledygook. Bottom line is, my problem is that in all of these stock purchases and so on, they're doing it on credit. See, I'm wondering if they're talking about doing it with credit, borrowed money, or they do it on a credit index, people, credit cards and all that kind of stuff. So they make it clear here. I got to go read it. But the main thing that I'm looking at is that they're using a lot of borrowed money to make these kinds of bets. That's when things are going to go bad. Because not only are they got to have margin calls on it, and you owe it, and you got to give it, and you lost the money, but you didn't even lose your money. You lost other people's money, by the gazillions. They're borrowing because they'll give it to them. I'll make this bet and then pay you. Can I have a hamburger today, and I promise to pay you tomorrow? I mean, this is what's going on now. They're using other people's money to lose money. And if they go, hey, here's a whole bunch of money for you to lose, and they go, okay, let's go lose that money. That's what's happening. And I've been around long enough to see when this happens, that's when it goes. So well, let me go ahead and scan through some of the stories I want to make sure that that I've seen over the weekend. This is just this morning. I'm just going, damn. Yeah. I'm feeling, man, you got chickens. Got chickens. We'll be right back. From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, Is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Free Talk Live.
Are you saying there's something wrong with a gay couple adopting children?
Absolutely.
What could possibly be wrong about that?
Then the children are going to be raised by queers instead of by,
You are homophobic, aren't you, Tom?
No.
I think so.
But anyway.
What's wrong with them being raised by gay people?
Because gay people are unfit to raise children.
How dare you?
I object a lot. I had a friend who was adopted by gay parents, and he grew up just fine with completely normal values, and he's a very normal, functioning member of society.
I've met plenty of gay people in my time who I thought would make fantastic parents and would be far better parents than many of the white trash parents that are out there raising kids today. Tom, do you know any gay people?
I try not to, but...
Yeah, well, that figures, and you're about done. Thanks for the call.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free.
Yeah, from Facebook's portal video chats. It's going to spy on you. Is it going to spy on you? It's spying on you. They're having, these are cool, man. Cool. This is the video. This is 2001 Space Odyssey phones. It's a phone that has a screen on it. It just sits there on the counter. It follows you. You're sitting there. You can just chat with people as you're working around in the kitchen of taking the class of Big Brother. It's a scene from Big Brother. It wakes you up. Hey, number 37, get your ass up and, start jump jacking. Let's do it. Get jacked in, as in jumping. So we're going to be giving up our I just want the option to, you want to do it, fine. Do I have to? Do I have to? Oh, but if you don't, there's something wrong with you. This is what happened. One of the, there for a while, God, it was like 5 years ago or something. It was like a demerit. Your social score went down. Something was wrong with you if you didn't have a Facebook account. They go, hey, he doesn't have a Facebook account. What's he hiding? What's he doing? He's not on the grid, man. There's something wrong with him or her or it. This is the mentality or the way they want you to think. There must be something wrong. You're doing it wrong. All right, some of the headlines. How the full declassification of the FISA warrant could trigger the Great Awakening. That's by Richard Enos over on Lou Rockwell. Take the Russian collusion. I don't care. It just blah, 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 blah. This is the whole. No, let me put his intention here. See, my intention in this article is to lay out a simplified explanation of the situation in order for you to understand the basic storyline regarding one particular aspect of the Russian collusion narrative. The FISA warrant that authorized the FBI to spy on the Trump campaign before the 2016 election. Republicans. It is my contention that the full declassification of this FISA warrant may be the linchpin to unraveling deep state control over the United States and allow all of us to finally glean the truth behind the deception that has long ruled American politics. Yeah. And okay, so they declassify the FISA warrant, and you find out everything that everybody did. And you got a Democrat House and Democrat leaning, whatever the heck is going to be in the Senate, and I don't care. Okay, this is the deep state. They, them, those. They're not going to give up what, and even if they do, it'll be it's like the Church Commission. There was a commission done when I was young. Was I junior high, elementary school in the 70s, and it was all on after all the protests and the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War protest and all this kind of stuff. They found out that, we did a commission on it. That was bad. You shouldn't have done that. The FBI had files on everybody. It's like Stasi files. It was East German on everybody we did, and informants and